In the heart of a lush, ancient forest stood a towering willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. It was said that this magical tree could grant a single wish to anyone who proved their kindness and bravery. The villagers often spoke of the tree's gentle whispers that carried secrets of the forest and the promises of dreams fulfilled. One bright morning, a kind-hearted girl named Mira set out from her small village on a quest to find the Whispering Willow. Her beloved grandmother, who had always been the village storyteller, had fallen ill. Mira hoped that if she could find the legendary tree and make a wish, she could restore her grandmother's health. Mira journeyed through the dense forest, following the advice of the villagers who had described the tree's location as being near a sparkling brook and a meadow of wildflowers. As she walked, the forest seemed alive with the chatter of birds and the rustling of leaves, guiding her on her way. After hours of travel, Mira arrived at a glistening brook. She carefully followed its banks, keeping an eye out for any sign of the magical tree. The brook led her to a beautiful meadow filled with colorful flowers swaying in the breeze. At the far end of the meadow, nestled between two hills, she saw the Whispering Willow. The tree was magnificent, its branches sweeping the ground like a lush curtain. Its leaves shimmered with a silvery glow, and soft, melodious whispers drifted through the air. Mira approached the tree with a mixture of awe and hope. "Welcome, Mira," the Whispering Willow said in a voice like a gentle breeze. "I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart. What is it that you wish for?" Mira took a deep breath and spoke with sincerity. "I wish for my grandmother to be restored to health. She has been unwell for many months, and I want to see her smile again." The Whispering Willow's branches swayed as if pondering the request. A wish made with such love and selflessness is powerful. But first, you must prove your kindness and bravery by helping others along your way. The magic within me requires a heart that not only desires but also acts. The tree's words filled Mira with determination. "I will do whatever it takes." The Whispering Willow directed Mira to a small, nearby village where she would find the first challenge. Mira followed the tree's guidance and soon reached the village, which was suffering from a severe drought. The villagers were desperate, and their crops had withered under the relentless sun. Mira saw an elderly woman struggling to carry water from a distant well. Without hesitation, Mira offered to help. She carried water to the village, shared her own provisions, and worked alongside the villagers to dig a new well. Her efforts brought hope and relief to the village. The villagers thanked Mira and admired her kindness. She continued her journey, guided once more by the Whispering Willow's whispers, until she reached a dense part of the forest where a group of lost animals were huddled together, frightened and hungry. Mira used her wits and compassion to help the animals find their way back to their homes. She shared her food and built small shelters for those who needed them. The animals, grateful for her kindness, guided her to a hidden glade where a family of injured fairies lived. The fairies were in need of healing, and Mira gently tended to their wounds using herbs she gathered from the forest. Her nurturing care restored the fairies' strength, and they fluttered around her in thanks, offering her their magic in return. Finally, Mira made her way back to the Whispering Willow, carrying the blessings of those she had helped. She approached the tree with a heart full of fulfillment and hope. "I have done as you asked," Mira said. "I have helped those in need and acted with kindness and bravery. Please, grant my wish for my grandmother's health." The Whispering Willow's leaves shimmered brightly as it began to weave a soft, glowing light around Mira. "You have shown true kindness and bravery, Mira. Your wish shall be granted." With a gentle rustling of its branches, the Whispering Willow released a magical breeze that carried Mira's wish back to her village. When Mira returned home, she found her grandmother smiling and full of life, as if a miracle had occurred. The villagers rejoiced at the sight of the restored grandmother, and Mira's tale of bravery and kindness became a cherished story in the village. The Whispering Willow continued to stand tall in the forest, its whispers a reminder that true magic comes from the heart. And so, Mira's selfless journey and the kindness she showed to others brought light and healing not just to her grandmother but to everyone she met along the way. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where flowers whispered secrets and trees sang lullabies, there was a hidden garden known only to the moon and the stars. This enchanted garden was a place of wonder, where flowers glowed with their own light and the air was filled with the scent of magic. It was ruled by a gentle fairy queen named Elowen, who watched over the garden with great care. In the village nearby lived a young girl named Lila. She had always been fascinated by the tales of the enchanted garden but had never seen it with her own eyes. Every night, she would look up at the moon and wonder about the mysterious garden that lay hidden from the world. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, a soft, melodious tune filled the air. The song was so beautiful that it seemed to reach right into Lila's heart. Driven by curiosity and wonder, she followed the melody through the dark woods and over the rolling hills. As she walked, the moonlight seemed to guide her path, and soon she arrived at a large, ivy-covered gate. The gate was adorned with sparkling gems that shimmered in the moonlight. Lila pushed open the gate, and it creaked softly as she stepped into the garden. The sight before her was breathtaking. The garden was a sea of luminescent flowers and shimmering leaves. The moonlight bathed the garden in a silvery glow, and fireflies danced like stars among the blooms. At the heart of the garden stood a majestic tree with silver branches and a trunk that seemed to sparkle with every color of the rainbow. As Lila wandered through the garden, she noticed a particularly radiant flower growing at the base of the tree. It was a moonflower, known for its magical properties. The moonflower was said to grant a single wish to those pure of heart. Just as Lila approached the moonflower, a soft voice spoke from behind her. "Greetings, young traveler," said Queen Elowen, emerging from behind the tree. She was a delicate fairy with wings like gossamer and a crown made of moonlight. "I am Queen Elowen, the guardian of this enchanted garden." Lila was awestruck and managed to stammer, "I've heard stories about this place and the moonflower. I came to see if the stories were true." Queen Elowen smiled warmly. "The moonflower is indeed magical, but it is not just for wishing. It's a symbol of hope and dreams. However, it can only grant its gift to those who show kindness and bravery." As they spoke, a sudden gust of wind swept through the garden, and the sky darkened ominously. The enchanted garden was being threatened by a dark force, the shadow of despair, a creature that thrived on sadness and darkness. The shadow began to cast a veil of gloom over the garden, dimming the light of the moonflower. Queen Elowen's face grew worried. The shadow of despair seeks to consume the light of the moonflower. Without it, the garden will fall into darkness, and its magic will be lost forever. Without hesitation, Lila took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I will help you. I want to save the garden and the moonflower." Queen Elowen nodded in approval. "Brave and kind-hearted indeed. To defeat the shadow of despair, you must find the 3 hidden crystals of light that are scattered throughout the garden. These crystals will restore the moonflower's glow and drive away the shadow." Lila accepted the challenge and set out to find the crystals. She ventured through the garden, solving riddles and overcoming obstacles. The first crystal was hidden in a pond guarded by a wise old turtle who only revealed it when Lila answered a question about the importance of hope. The second crystal was nestled within a grove of trees that sang songs of bravery. To obtain it, Lila had to recite a poem of courage from her heart, demonstrating her resolve and strength. The third crystal was hidden high in the branches of the silver tree, and to reach it, Lila had to climb and face her own fears of heights. As she reached for the crystal, she felt a surge of determination and confidence. With the 3 crystals in hand, Lila returned to the moonflower. She carefully placed the crystals around the flower, and their combined light began to shine brightly. The moonflower's glow intensified, pushing back the darkness of the shadow of despair. The shadow shrieked and writhed as the light grew stronger, eventually dissipating into the night. The garden was saved, and its magic was restored. The moonflower bloomed more beautifully than ever, and the garden's enchantment was even more radiant. Queen Elowen thanked Lila for her bravery and kindness. "You have shown that true magic lies in the heart's courage and hope. The moonflower has granted you one wish." Lila thought for a moment and then said, "I wish for the garden's magic to always Once upon a time, in a kingdom not found on any map, there was a realm of gears and magic called Clockwork. This land was ruled by a wise and kind-hearted queen named Elara. Queen Elara was no ordinary monarch, she had a special gift. Her heart was connected to the kingdom's grand clock, a magnificent timepiece that ticked rhythmically at the center of the capital city. This clock wasn't just for telling time, it governed the very essence of magic in the land. The kingdom thrived in harmony, thanks to the clock. Every tick brought a fresh bloom of flowers, and every tock sent a gentle breeze to cool the land. However, this perfect balance was threatened one fateful day when a mysterious shadowy figure appeared at the edge of the kingdom. This figure was none other than an envious sorcerer named Malachi, who had longed for the magic of the Clockwork Kingdom. He harbored a dark spell that could halt the grand clock's gears, plunging the land into chaos. Disguised as a humble traveler, Malachi entered the kingdom and managed to slip into the palace unnoticed. There, he whispered his spell into the heart of the clock. As the spell took hold, the once harmonious ticking of the clock began to falter. Flowers wilted, and the breeze turned into a harsh wind. Queen Elara, sensing the imbalance, knew that something was terribly wrong. She called upon her trusted advisor, a clever mechanical owl named Hoot, and together they set out to find the source of the disturbance. Hoot's mechanical eyes scanned the kingdom's clockwork machinery while Elara used her magic to sense the disruption. They soon discovered the dark enchantment at the heart of the clock. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Elara and Hoot needed to act quickly to save their beloved kingdom. They set out on a perilous journey to find the only thing that could break Malachi's spell, a legendary artifact known as the Crystal Key. This key was said to be hidden deep within the enchanted forest, guarded by ancient beings and tricky puzzles. The enchanted forest was no ordinary woodland. Its trees whispered secrets, and its paths shifted with every step. Elara and Hoot ventured deeper into the forest, facing numerous challenges. They solved riddles posed by talking animals, navigated through shifting illusions, and even braved the trials of the forest guardian, a majestic stag with eyes like glowing emeralds. At the heart of the forest, they finally reached the hidden sanctuary where the crystal key lay. It was a radiant gem that pulsed with a soft, inviting glow. But to retrieve it, they needed to answer one final riddle posed by the guardian: what binds time and magic together, yet never can be seen? Elara thought deeply, her mind racing through the magical principles she had learned over the years. Then it struck her: it is the essence of balance, she exclaimed. The guardian's eyes sparkled with approval, and the crystal key floated into her hands. With the crystal key in their possession, Elara and Hoot raced back to the kingdom. As they approached the grand clock, Malachi reappeared, furious at their success. He tried to unleash his dark magic once more, but Elara was ready. She used the crystal key to counteract the spell, and with a surge of magic, the grand clock began to tick smoothly once again. The kingdom's harmony was restored. Flowers bloomed, and the breeze became gentle once more. Malachi, realizing he was defeated, fled into the shadows, never to be seen again. Queen Elara and Hoot were celebrated as heroes. The kingdom rejoiced in their restored magic and balance. From that day on, the grand clock continued its steady rhythm, and the people of Clockwork lived in peace and prosperity. And as for Elara, she never forgot the lesson that balance was the key to harmony, and that even in times of darkness, courage and wisdom could restore the light. And so, in the enchanted land of Clockwork, time ticked on, carrying with it the magic of harmony in the legacy of a brave queen and her loyal friend. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village named Willowbrook, nestled between lush, rolling hills and sparkling streams, there was an ancient forest known as the Enchanted Forest. This forest was a place of mystery and wonder, with towering trees that whispered secrets and flowers that bloomed in colors unseen anywhere else. Legend spoke of a magical heart hidden deep within the forest, said to grant the purest of wishes. Among the villagers was a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and unyielding curiosity. He had often heard tales of the enchanted forest and the magic it held, but he had never ventured inside. One crisp autumn morning, when the leaves were turning golden and the air was filled with the scent of pine, Finn decided to seek out the heart of the forest. With a small satchel of provisions, a sturdy walking stick, and a heart full of determination, Finn set out on his adventure. As he entered the enchanted forest, he felt a sense of wonder and excitement. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and chirping birds, and beams of sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, creating a dance of light and shadow on the forest floor. Finn followed a winding path marked with glowing mushrooms and twinkling fireflies. The deeper he went, the more magical the forest became. He soon came across a sparkling stream with water so clear it seemed to shimmer with stars. As he knelt to take a drink, a gentle voice spoke from the water. "Brave traveler, what brings you to the heart of the enchanted forest?" Startled but composed, Finn looked around and saw a small, wise-looking fish with scales that sparkled like gems. "I seek the heart of the forest," Finn replied. "I want to make a wish that will bring joy to my village." The fish's eyes twinkled with understanding. "To find the heart, you must pass 3 trials. Each trial will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Only those who are true of heart will succeed." With a nod, Finn agreed to the challenge. And the first trial began. The path led him to a dark and eerie part of the forest where he faced a daunting, tangled thicket. The thicket was alive with shadows that seemed to reach out and grab at him. Finn's heart raced, but he remembered the stories of courage and took a deep breath. He noticed that the shadows were merely illusions created by the shifting light. By carefully navigating through the thicket and staying calm, Finn found a hidden path that led him safely through the darkness. The second trial brought Finn to a clearing with a massive, ancient tree at its center. The tree's bark was etched with intricate patterns, and at its base was a large, locked chest. An inscription on the chest read, "Only the wise can unlock the secrets within." Above the chest floated a riddle: "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Finn pondered the riddle, remembering the stories he'd heard. After a moment of thought, he answered, "A joke." The chest's lock clicked open, and inside was a golden key. Finn took the key, knowing it was meant for the next trial. The final trial led Finn to a grove where a beautiful, delicate flower was wilting on the ground. The flower's petals were losing their color, and it seemed to be fading away. A soft, mournful voice echoed from the flower. "To save me, you must give something precious from your heart," the voice said. Finn felt a pang of sadness but looked around for something he could offer. He remembered the golden key he had found and realized that his desire to help the flower was more important than keeping the key. He gently placed the key beside the flower and made a heartfelt wish for its revival. As he did, the flower's petals regained their vibrant color, and it bloomed more beautifully than before. A soft, warm light enveloped the grove, and the forest seemed to come alive with joy. The flower's voice spoke again, "You have passed all 3 trials with bravery, wisdom, and kindness. The heart of the forest is now revealed to you." A hidden glen appeared, illuminated by a radiant, golden light. In the center of the glen was a magnificent heart-shaped crystal, pulsing with a warm, comforting glow. Finn approached the crystal and made his wish, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of my village." The crystal's light expanded and enveloped the entire enchanted forest, sending waves of magic toward Willowbrook. When Finn returned to his village, he found it transformed. The fields were lush, the rivers were clear, and the villagers were filled with joy and prosperity. The enchanted forest continued to thrive, and Finn's bravery and kindness became a cherished legend in Willowbrook. The heart of the forest remained a symbol of the magic that lives in selfless wishes and the wonders that can be found when one truly believes in the extraordinary. And so, the village of Willowbrook flourished under the enchantment of the forest, and Finn's adventure became a timeless story of courage, wisdom, and the power of a pure heart. Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush and ancient forest, there lay a hidden village known as Emberwood. This village was special for its enchanted lanterns that glowed with a warm, golden light every night. The lanterns were said to be gifts from the forest spirits, meant to guide and protect the villagers through the darkness. In Emberwood lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Freya. Freya had a special connection with the forest and often ventured deep into its mystical depths. One day, as she was foraging for herbs near an old oak tree, she discovered a strange, intricately carved wooden box hidden beneath the roots. The box had a faded inscription, "To find what is lost, seek the heart of the forest." Freya was intrigued. She took the box home and showed it to her grandmother, Elara, who was the village's wise elder. Elara's eyes widened in recognition. "This box belonged to the Forest Spirit Queen," she explained. "It said that it holds the key to restoring the forest spirit's lost heart." Freya was determined to uncover the mystery. That night, as the lanterns glowed softly in Emberwood, she set out on a quest to find the heart of the forest. Armed with a map her grandmother had given her and guided by the gentle light of the lanterns, Freya ventured into the heart of the enchanted forest. The forest was alive with soft whispers and gentle rustlings. Freya followed the map, which led her to a majestic waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool. In the moonlight, the water shimmered with an ethereal glow. As Freya approached the pool, a graceful, shimmering figure emerged from the water. It was the water nymph. The nymph spoke softly, "To find the forest spirit's heart, you must first prove your courage. Retrieve the moonstone from the cave behind the waterfall. It is guarded by the Echo Serpent, a creature of the deepest shadows." Freya accepted the challenge and carefully made her way behind the waterfall into a dark, echoing cave. The moonstone, a radiant gem pulsing with a soft blue light, was perched on a pedestal at the cave center. As she reached for it, the Echo Serpent slithered out of the shadows, its eyes glowing with a faint, eerie light. The serpent hissed, "Only those who face their fears may take the moonstone." Freya took a deep breath and faced the serpent. "I am not afraid," she declared, "for I seek to restore what is lost and protect the forest." The Echo Serpent, sensing the sincerity in her heart, allowed her to take the moonstone. With the gem in hand, Freya returned to the water nymph, who guided her further into the forest. The map led Freya to an ancient, enchanted grove where the trees seemed to whisper ancient secrets. At the center of the grove was a grand, hollow tree with a gnarled trunk and glowing runes. Freya approached the tree, and the moonstone's light revealed a hidden door. Inside the hollow tree, Freya found a mystical heart-shaped crystal pulsating with a faint, golden light. The crystal was surrounded by withered leaves and dark vines. As Freya touched the crystal, a voice echoed through the grove. "You have proven your bravery and pure heart," the voice said. "Restore the heart of the forest and bring light to the land." Freya placed the moonstone next to the crystal, and a wave of golden light surged through the grove. The vines withered, the leaves revived, and the grove was bathed in a warm, golden glow. The heart-shaped crystal began to pulse with vibrant energy, and the forest was filled with renewed magic. The Forest Spirit Queen appeared, a radiant figure of light and grace. "You have restored the heart of the forest," she said. "Your courage and kindness have saved our realm." Freya returned to Emberwood, where the lanterns glowed brighter than ever. The village celebrated her bravery with a grand feast, and the story of her quest became a cherished tale. From that day on, the forest thrived under the protection of the restored heart, and the lanterns of Emberwood shone with a magical light that guided and protected the villagers. And so, Freya's bravery and the magic of the enchanted forest lived on, and the village of Emberwood flourished happily ever after. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where the sun kissed the rolling hills and the breeze danced through the trees, there was an enchanted forest. The forest was known for its mystical creatures and magical wonders, but its most precious secret was a lost crown that had been missing for centuries. Long ago, the crown belonged to Queen Seraphina, a kind and wise ruler whose kingdom was filled with prosperity and peace. The crown was said to have the power to bring harmony to the land, but it vanished during a great storm. The kingdom fell into disarray, and the enchanted forest became a place of mystery and legend. In a small village on the edge of the enchanted forest lived a brave girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her curiosity and her love for adventure. One day, while exploring the village's old library, she came across a tattered scroll with a map of the enchanted forest. The scroll hinted at the location of the lost crown. Lyra's heart raced with excitement. she decided to embark on a quest to find the crown and restore peace to the land. With a small satchel of supplies and a sense of determination, she set off into the forest. As Lyra ventured deeper into the enchanted forest, she encountered a series of magical beings who offered her guidance. The first was a wise old turtle named Tiberius, who was known for his knowledge of the forest. "Welcome, young traveler," Tiberius said in a deep, gravelly voice. "To find the lost crown, you must pass 3 trials. The first is the trial of courage. Follow the path of glowing mushrooms to find the hidden cave." Lyra thanked Tiberius and followed the path marked by the glowing mushrooms. The trail led her to a dark, mysterious cave. Inside, she faced her fear of the unknown and navigated through the shadows until she found a hidden chamber. There, she discovered a crystal vial filled with sparkling stardust, which was the key to the next trial. Exiting the cave, Lyra continued her journey and soon met a graceful deer named Alara, who guided her to a shimmering waterfall. "The second trial is the trial of wisdom," Alara explained. "You must solve the riddle of the waterfall to proceed." Lyra listened carefully as the waterfall began to speak in a gentle, rhythmic tone. The riddle was about balance and harmony, and after some thought, Lyra answered correctly. The waterfall parted to reveal a hidden path leading to a serene glade, where she found a golden leaf with intricate engravings. With the leaf in hand, Lyra proceeded to the final trial. The path led her to a grove where the trees seemed to whisper and sway in a rhythmic dance. Here, she encountered a mystical unicorn named Orion. "The final trial is the trial of kindness," Orion said. "You must help a creature in need to earn the last piece of the crown." In the grove, Lyra found a small, injured bird with a broken wing. She carefully tended to the bird, using her knowledge of herbs and her gentle touch to heal it. The bird chirped gratefully and flew off, leaving behind a delicate, silver feather. With the feather in hand, Lyra returned to the enchanted forest's heart, where she placed the stardust, golden leaf, and silver feather on an ancient altar. The forest's magic began to swirl around her, and a radiant light emerged from the altar, revealing the lost crown, which gleamed with an otherworldly glow. Lyra carefully picked up the crown and felt its powerful energy. She made her way back to the kingdom, where she placed the crown on a pedestal in the village square. The crown's magic spread throughout the land, bringing peace and prosperity back to the kingdom. The villagers celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness, and the story of her quest was passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. The enchanted forest became a place of harmony and wonder, and the lost crown was cherished as a symbol of hope and unity. And so, the kingdom thrived once more, forever touched by the magic of the enchanted forest in the heart of a brave girl who restored its lost crown. The end. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Lumina, there was a village nestled in a valley surrounded by towering mountains. The village was known for its beautiful night sky, filled with stars that seemed close enough to touch. Every night, the villagers would gather to admire the stars, believing they held the secrets to their future and well-being. However, one fateful evening, the stars began to dim, and a heavy darkness spread across the land. Crops failed, and the once clear rivers turned murky. The villagers were filled with fear and uncertainty, as they believed the stars had abandoned them. In the heart of the village lived a young girl named Anya, who was known for her kindness and determination. She could not bear to see her home suffer and decided to find a way to restore the stars' light. Anya remembered the tales her grandmother used to tell her about the starflower, a magical flower that bloomed once every century atop the highest peak in the kingdom, Mount Solara. It was said that the starflower had the power to rekindle the stars and bring light back to the world. Determined to save her village, Anya set off on a journey to find the starflower. The journey to Mount Solara was perilous and filled with challenges. As Anya made her way through the dense forests, she encountered a talking owl named Orion. Orion was wise and offered to guide her through the treacherous terrain. Grateful for the help, Anya accepted, and the two set off together. After days of traveling, they reached the base of Mount Solara. The mountain was steep and covered in ice, making the climb incredibly difficult. Anya's determination never wavered, and with Orion's guidance, they slowly made their way up the mountain. Along the way, they encountered various creatures, some helpful and others not so much. They met a friendly mountain goat named Zephyr, who showed them a hidden path that made the climb easier. As they neared the summit, a fierce snowstorm hit, threatening to push them back down the mountain. Anya, shivering and exhausted, was about to lose hope when a figure emerged from the swirling snow. It was a knight clad in shining armor that seemed to glow with the light of the moon. He introduced himself as Sir Cedric, the Moonlit Knight, guardian of the Starflower. "I see you have come a long way, young one," Sir Cedric said, his voice kind but firm. "To prove your worth, you must face one final challenge. You must retrieve the Starflower from the ice cave guarded by the ice dragon, Frostbane. Only a heart pure of intention and courage can withstand his icy breath." Anya nodded, her resolve strengthening. With Sir Cedric by her side, they made their way to the ice cave. The air inside was frigid, and the walls shimmered with frozen crystals. At the heart of the cave lay the Starflower, its petals glowing with a soft, celestial light. However, blocking their path was Frostbane, his scales glistening like diamonds and his eyes piercing blue. Frostbane roared, sending a blast of icy wind towards them. Sir Cedric raised his shield to protect Anya, but she knew that to truly prove herself, she had to face the dragon alone. Taking a deep breath, Anya stepped forward. "Great Frostbane," she called out, her voice steady. "I seek the Starflower to save my village and restore the light to the stars. Please, let me take it and bring hope back to my people." Frostbane studied her for a moment, then spoke in a voice like cracking ice. "Many have come seeking the Starflower, but few have shown the courage and selflessness you possess. You may take the Starflower, and with it, restore the light." With a nod of gratitude, Anya carefully plucked the Starflower from its icy bed. As she did, the cave began to warm, and the ice started to melt. Frostbane bowed his head in respect, and Anya, Sir Cedric, and Orion made their way back down the mountain. When they returned to the village, Anya planted the Starflower in the center of the village square. Its light grew brighter and brighter until it burst into a brilliant shower of stardust that ascended into the night sky, rekindling the stars. The darkness lifted, and the land was once again bathed in light. The villagers rejoiced, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude. Anya was hailed as a hero, and the tale of her bravery spread throughout the kingdom. Sir Cedric and Orion became her lifelong friends, and together, they ensured that the light of the stars would never fade again. And so, the village of Lumina thrived under the twinkling night sky, a testament to the power of courage, kindness, and the unyielding spirit of a young girl who dared to reach for the stars. The end.
Once upon a time, in a small village named Eldertree, there lived a curious and adventurous girl named Alina. Alina loved exploring and had an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. One day, she heard stories about the Whispering Woods, a mysterious forest at the edge of the village. The woods were said to be enchanted, filled with magical creatures and hidden secrets, but no one who had ventured in had ever returned. Despite the villagers' warnings, Alina felt a strong urge to explore the Whispering Woods. Armed with her bravery and a small satchel of provisions, she decided to set off on an adventure. As Alina approached the entrance to the Whispering Woods, she felt a strange, tingling sensation. The trees seemed to whisper her name, and the air was filled with a soft, melodic hum. The forest was dense and shadowy, with beams of sunlight piercing through the canopy, creating a magical, dappled effect on the forest floor. Alina stepped into the forest, and immediately, the trees seemed to close in around her. She took a deep breath and continued forward, determined to uncover the secrets of the Whispering Woods. As Alina ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a small clearing where a wise old owl named Orin perched on a low branch. Orin had large, knowing eyes that seemed to sparkle with ancient wisdom. "Welcome, young traveler," Orin hooted. "I see you have come to explore the Whispering Woods. Few have the courage to do so. What is it you seek?" Alina explained her desire to discover the secrets of the forest and learn about its magical inhabitants. Orin nodded approvingly and offered to be her guide. But beware, he warned, not all is as it seems. The forest can be both wondrous and perilous. Orin led Alina deeper into the forest, and soon they came across a bubbling stream. The water was crystal clear, and colorful fish swam gracefully beneath the surface. Orin instructed Alina to drink from the stream, explaining that it would grant her the ability to understand and communicate with the forest creatures. Alina knelt by the stream and took a sip of the cool, refreshing water. Instantly, she felt a rush of energy and a sense of connection to the forest. As they continued their journey, Alina began to hear the voices of the animals around her, each with its own story to tell. After a while, Orin led Alina to a hidden village deep within the forest. The village was inhabited by a group of gentle forest spirits known as the Sylvans. The Sylvans were small, glowing beings with delicate wings and a deep love for nature. They welcomed Alina warmly and invited her to stay with them. The Sylvans told Alina about the heart of the Whispering Woods, a magical tree known as the Heartwood Tree. The tree was said to hold the essence of the forest magic, but it was guarded by a fierce and cunning creature known as the Shadow Panther. Many had tried to reach the Heartwood Tree, but none had succeeded. Determined to see the Heartwood Tree, Alina asked Orin and the Sylvans for their help. They warned her of the dangers, but agreed to guide her to the tree. As they approached the heart of the forest, the air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to deepen. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees, and the Shadow Panther appeared. It was a sleek, black creature with piercing green eyes that seemed to see into Alina's soul. The panther circled Alina, its eyes never leaving hers. "You seek the Heartwood Tree," the panther growled. "But to reach it, you must prove your worth. Show me your bravery and your kindness." Alina took a deep breath and stepped forward. She spoke softly and kindly to the panther, explaining her desire to learn about the forest and protect it. She promised to share the knowledge she gained with her village and help preserve the magic of the Whispering Woods. The Shadow Panther listened intently and then nodded. "Your heart is pure," it said. "You may pass." With the panther's blessing, Alina and her companions continued their journey. Soon, they arrived at a clearing where the Heartwood Tree stood. The tree was immense and ancient, with golden leaves that shimmered in the light. Its roots spread out like veins, pulsing with the magic of the forest. Alina approached the Heartwood Tree and placed her hand on its trunk. She felt a surge of warmth and a deep sense of peace. The tree's magic flowed into her, filling her with knowledge and understanding. She saw visions of the forest, history, and its future, and she knew she had found what she was seeking. Orin and the Sylvans watched in awe as the Heartwood Tree shared its wisdom with Alina. When the visions faded, Alina thanked the tree and promised to protect the forest and its magic. With a heart full of gratitude and newfound knowledge, Alina began her journey back to Eldertree. Orin and the Sylvans accompanied her to the edge of the forest, and she bid them farewell, promising to return and visit them often. As Alina emerged from the Whispering Woods, the villagers of Eldertree were amazed to see her. She shared her story and the wisdom she had gained, and the village began to thrive once more. The villagers learned to live in harmony with nature, and the magic of the Whispering Woods spread throughout the land. Alina grew up to be a wise and respected leader, known for her deep connection to the forest and her kindness to all living things. The tale of her adventure became a cherished legend passed down through generations. And so, the Whispering Woods remained a place of wonder and magic, protected by those who understood its secrets and cherished its beauty. And Alina, the brave girl who ventured into the unknown, became a symbol of courage, kindness, and the enduring bond between humans and nature.
Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a vast, ancient forest, there was a place known as the Whispering Woods. This forest was famous for its whispering trees that could talk, but only to those with pure hearts and noble intentions. Legend spoke of a hidden treasure deep within the woods that could bring peace and prosperity to anyone who found it. In this village lived a brave young boy named Leo. Leo was known for his kindness and courage, and he often helped his neighbors with their problems. One day, news arrived that the village was facing a severe drought, and the crops were failing. The villagers were worried and desperate. Leo, determined to help, decided to venture into the Whispering Woods to find the legendary treasure that could save them. Into the forest with the first light of dawn, Leo set off on his journey, carrying only a small satchel with provisions and a sturdy walking stick. As he entered the Whispering Woods, the trees seemed to come alive with rustling leaves and soft murmurs. The forest was dense and mysterious, but Leo's heart was steady and true. As he walked deeper into the forest, he encountered a wise old owl perched on a low branch. The owl, with its large, knowing eyes, greeted Leo. To find the treasure, you must first prove your worth by completing 3 challenges. The forest will guide you if you listen carefully. The first challenge, the enchanted stream. Leo followed the owl's advice and soon came upon a crystal-clear stream with shimmering water. The stream was magical but also very tricky. It flowed in strange patterns and seemed to change direction whenever Leo tried to follow it. On the bank of the stream, Leo found a message written in shimmering letters: "To cross the stream, you must solve the riddle of the water. What is as light as a feather, yet even the world's strongest man couldn't hold it for much longer than a minute?" Leo pondered the riddle and then smiled as he realized the answer. "Breath," he said aloud. As he spoke, the water parted, revealing a bridge made of glistening stones.
Leo crossed the stream safely, feeling encouraged by his progress. The second challenge, the singing flowers. On the other side of the stream, Leo entered a meadow filled with flowers of every color. The flowers were singing in harmony, but their melodies were tangled and chaotic. Leo noticed a beautiful melody coming from a patch of flowers that seemed to be wilting. He approached the wilting flowers and gently tended to them, watering them with the water from the stream. As he did so, the flowers began to sing more clearly, their melodies becoming harmonious once more. The singing flowers formed a path leading Leo towards a grove at the heart of the forest. The third challenge, the guardian of the grove. In the grove, Leo found an ancient, grand oak tree with a face carved into its trunk. The oak tree was known as the guardian of the grove. Its deep voice resonated through the air as it spoke: "To earn the treasure, you must demonstrate the greatest gift of all. Share something of yourself willingly and without expectation." Leo thought about this carefully.
He reached into his satchel and pulled out a simple but precious locket, a family heirloom given to him by his grandmother. It was a symbol of his family's love and sacrifice. He placed the locket at the base of the oak tree. The oak's branches rustled in approval, and the ground beneath Leo's feet began to glow with a golden light. The guardian of the grove spoke again: "You have shown true selflessness and kindness. The treasure you seek lies beyond this grove." The hidden treasure. Following the glowing light, Leo arrived at a hidden clearing where a magnificent chest lay in the center. The chest was adorned with intricate patterns and glowing with a warm, golden light. Leo opened the chest, revealing a radiant, crystal orb. The moment Leo touched the orb, a warm, soothing light spread across the forest. The drought in his village was instantly lifted as the orb's magic began to bring rain and restore the crops. The trees of the Whispering Woods rustled in joy, and the forest seemed to come alive with vibrant colors. Returned to the village. Leo returned to his village, carrying the crystal orb with him. As he approached, the once dry fields were now lush and green, and the villagers were filled with amazement and joy. The orb had not only restored the land but had also brought a sense of peace and unity to the village. The villagers celebrated Leo's bravery and kindness with a grand feast, and the Whispering Woods were forever grateful for the young boy who had shown such a pure heart. The legend of the Whispering Woods continued to be told for generations, reminding everyone that true treasure lies in selflessness and compassion. And so, the village flourished once more, and Leo's story became a cherished tale of hope and heroism. The Whispering Woods remained a magical place, always ready to aid those with kind hearts. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there was a beautiful princess named Alara. Princess Alara was kind and loved by all the people in her kingdom. She had everything she could ever want: but she always felt that something was missing. She longed for adventure and wished to see the world beyond the castle walls. One sunny day, Princess Elara decided to take a walk by the enchanted lake near the castle. The lake was known for its crystal-clear water and magical creatures. Elara loved visiting the lake and talking to the animals that lived there. As she strolled along the shore, Elara noticed something shining in the water. She leaned over and saw a golden fish swimming near the surface. The fish had sparkling scales that glittered in the sunlight. "Hello, little fish," Elara said, smiling. "You are the most beautiful fish I have ever seen." To her surprise, the golden fish replied, "Thank you, Princess Elara. I am not just any fish. I am a magical fish, and I can grant you one wish." Elara was astonished. "A wish? I have always dreamed of an adventure. I wish to explore the world beyond the castle and help those in need." The golden fish nodded. "Your wish is noble, Princess. I will grant it, but remember, true adventure comes from the heart, and helping others brings the greatest joy." With that, the fish flicked its tail, and a golden light surrounded Elara. When the light faded, Elara found herself in a beautiful forest. She was no longer wearing her royal gown but a simple dress suitable for traveling. Excited and curious, Elara began her journey through the forest. She soon came across a small village where the people looked sad and worried. Elara approached a group of villagers and asked, "What is troubling you, my friends?" An elderly woman replied, "Our village is cursed by a wicked sorcerer who lives in the dark mountains. He has stolen our most precious treasures and cast a spell that makes our crops wither." Elara's heart filled with determination. "I will help you," she declared. "Show me the way to the dark mountains." The villagers were surprised by her bravery but grateful for her kindness. They gave her a map and some supplies for her journey. Elara set off towards the dark mountains, determined to break the sorcerer's curse. As Elara climbed the rugged paths of the dark mountains, she encountered many challenges. She crossed a rickety bridge over a deep chasm, solved riddles from a talking owl, and found her way through a maze of thorny bushes. With each challenge, Elara grew stronger and more confident. Finally, she reached the sorcerer's castle, a dark and foreboding place. Elara took a deep breath and entered the castle. She made her way through the dimly lit halls until she found the sorcerer's chamber. The wicked sorcerer, a tall figure in a black robe, looked at her with surprise. "Who dares to enter my castle?" he demanded. "I am Princess Elara, and I have come to end your curse and return the treasures you have stolen from the villagers," she replied boldly. The sorcerer laughed. "You are brave, Princess, but you cannot defeat me." Elara remembered the words of the golden fish, "True adventure comes from the heart." She knew she had to use her kindness and courage. "I do not wish to fight you," she said. "I believe there is good in everyone. If you return what you have taken and lift the curse, you can find redemption." The sorcerer was taken aback by her words. No one had ever spoken to him with such kindness. He thought for a moment and then said, "Very well, Princess. Your words have touched my heart." With a wave of his hand, the sorcerer lifted the curse from the village. He returned the treasures and promised to use his magic for good from that day forward. Elara returned to the village with the treasures and the good news. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated her bravery and kindness. They invited her to stay, but Elara knew she had more adventures ahead. As she continued her journey, Elara helped many more people and discovered that true adventure was about making the world a better place. She eventually returned to her kingdom, where she was welcomed as a hero. Princess Elara never forgot the lesson she learned from the golden fish. She ruled her kingdom with wisdom and compassion, and her adventures became the stuff of legends. And so, Princess Elara lived happily ever after, always ready for the next adventure, knowing that true magic comes from a kind heart and a brave spirit. The end. Once upon a time, in a secluded valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a small village called Luminara. The village was renowned for its annual lantern festival, where lanterns of all shapes and colors were set afloat on the river of stars. the festival celebrated the village's prosperity and the legendary Lantern of Light, a magical lantern said to hold the power to grant one wish every century. The Lantern of Light was kept in the heart of the village, guarded by the wise old librarian, Mr. Eldrick. It was said that whoever possessed the lantern during the festival could make a wish, but the lantern's light would only shine brightly if the wish was pure and selfless. One year, as the Lantern Festival approached, an unexpected visitor arrived in Luminera. Her name was Seraphina, a young girl with a mysterious air about her and a captivating, golden pendant around her neck. She claimed to be from a distant land, seeking the Lantern of Light to save her village from an eternal winter. The villagers were skeptical but compassionate, and they allowed Seraphina to stay as she prepared for the festival. As the festival night drew near, Seraphina's presence became the talk of the village. People whispered about her quest, wondering if she could truly save her village. On the night of the Lantern Festival, the river sparkled with the light of countless lanterns. The Lantern of Light, glowing softly in its protective glass case, was placed on the festival stage. The villagers gathered around, their hearts full of anticipation. When the time came for Seraphina to make her wish, she approached Mr. Eldrick and the Lantern of Light with a determined expression. "I wish to save my village from the eternal winter that has befallen it," she declared. "Please, let the Lantern of Light grant this wish." Mr. Eldrick nodded solemnly and opened the case. The lantern's flame flickered and then dimmed, casting a shadow of uncertainty. The villagers watched in silence, their hearts heavy with concern. Suddenly, the golden pendant around Seraphina's neck began to glow. She looked down and saw that it was warm and pulsing with light. Seraphina took a deep breath and closed her eyes, focusing on her wish. "Please, let there be warmth and hope for my village," she whispered. The Lantern of Light began to glow brighter and brighter, its light expanding and filling the entire village with a warm, golden hue. The river sparkled with the lantern's reflections, and the festival grounds were bathed in an enchanting light. A magical breeze swept through the village, carrying the lantern's light far beyond the valley. The villagers watched in awe as the light spread across the land, reaching Seraphina's distant village, where the eternal winter began to lift. Snow melted, and flowers bloomed once more as the warmth returned to Seraphina's home. The lantern's light eventually faded, leaving behind a gentle, glowing ember. Seraphina's eyes were filled with tears of joy and gratitude. She turned to the villagers of Luminera. "Thank you for believing in me and helping me save my village. I promise to honor this gift and share the warmth with everyone." The villagers cheered, their hearts swelling with pride and happiness. The Lantern Festival continued with renewed joy, and Seraphina's tale became a cherished part of Luminera's history. As Seraphina prepared to leave, Mr. Eldrick handed her a small, wooden box. "This is a token of our appreciation," he said. "It contains a fragment of the Lantern of Light's magic. May it guide you and your village in times of need." Seraphina thanked Mr. Eldrick and the villagers before departing. She carried the box with her as she returned to her village, and the magic within it continued to bring light and hope to her people. And so, the Lantern of Light became a symbol of selflessness and the power of hope. Luminera thrived, and its Lantern Festival grew even more magical, celebrated not only for the lanterns but for the enduring spirit of kindness and community. Once upon a time, in a kingdom shrouded in mist and mystery, there was a small village called Everbrook, nestled in the valley of the Whispering Mountains. This village was known for its lush meadows and sparkling streams, but it had a secret hidden deep within the mountains, a place called the Crystal Cavern. The cavern was said to be filled with magical crystals that could grant any wish, but it was also guarded by a fearsome dragon. Among the villagers was a brave young girl named Lila. Lila had always been fascinated by the legends of the Crystal Cavern, especially the tales of a rare, star-shaped crystal that could bring great joy and prosperity. Her family was poor, and despite their hard work, they struggled to make ends meet. Lila dreamed of finding the star-shaped crystal to help her family and her village. One chilly winter evening, as Lila sat by the fire reading an old book of legends, she stumbled upon a map hidden between the pages. The map depicted a path leading to the Crystal Cavern, marked with strange symbols and warnings about the dragon. Lila felt a surge of determination. She knew that the journey would be perilous, but she was ready to face the challenge for the sake of her family. The next morning, Lila packed a small bag with provisions, a lantern, and a sturdy rope. She bid farewell to her family, who were worried but proud of her bravery. Lila set off into the mountains, guided by the map and her unwavering resolve. The path was treacherous, with steep cliffs and narrow ledges, but Lila pressed on. As night fell, she reached a hidden entrance to the cavern, marked by ancient runes glowing faintly in the darkness. She lit her lantern and stepped inside. The cavern was a breathtaking sight. Walls of glittering crystals bathed in a soft, ethereal light. The air was filled with a soothing hum, as if the crystals were singing. Lila followed the map's instructions, navigating through the labyrinthine tunnels with a mix of awe and trepidation. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the cavern. And a massive dragon emerged from the shadows. Its scales shimmered like 1,000 gems, and its eyes glowed with an intense, fiery light. Lila's heart pounded in her chest, but she stood her ground. The dragon spoke in a deep, rumbling voice, "Who dares enter my domain?" "I am Lila from Everbrook," she said bravely. "I have come in search of the star-shaped crystal. My family and my village need it." The dragon's eyes softened slightly as it observed Lila. "Many have come before you seeking the crystal, but none have succeeded. What makes you different?" Lila took a deep breath and replied, "I am not seeking the crystal for myself. I want to help my family and my village. If you can see that my heart is true, please, allow me to take the crystal." The dragon stared at her for a long moment before speaking again. "Very well. I will test your heart's purity. You must answer this riddle. What is the light that shines brightest in the dark, the warmth that soothes the cold, and the bond that holds hearts together?" Lila thought carefully, remembering her family and her village. With a gentle smile, she answered, "Love." The dragon's eyes sparkled with approval. "You have answered wisely. The star-shaped crystal is yours." The dragon gestured with its massive claw, and a hidden chamber revealed itself, containing the star-shaped crystal. Lila carefully took the crystal and thanked the dragon for its kindness. With the crystal in hand, Lila made her way back to Everbrook. The journey was long and exhausting, but she felt a sense of fulfillment. When she returned, she placed the crystal in the center of the village square. As its light spread, it brought warmth and prosperity to Everbrook. The once struggling village flourished with abundance, and the villagers celebrated Lila's bravery and selflessness. From that day on, Lila was known as the heroine of Everbrook. The tale of her journey to the Crystal Cavern became a cherished legend, reminding everyone of the power of love and the courage to follow one's heart. And so, under the gentle light of the star-shaped crystal, once upon a time, in the heart of the verdant kingdom of Evergreen, there was a mystical forest known as the Whispering Woods. This enchanted forest was renowned for its ancient trees that could speak in hushed tones and the shimmering fireflies glade, where dreams and wishes came alive. At the center of the forest stood the Lumina tree, a grand, glowing tree with branches that sparkled like stars. Legend had it that the Lumina tree could grant a single wish to anyone who proved themselves worthy. In the nearby village of Briarfield lived a curious and kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his love of nature. His closest friend was a spirited, chatty bluebird named Lila, who had an uncanny ability to find hidden paths and uncover secrets. One misty morning, Finn and Lila discovered an old, weathered map tucked away in a hidden corner of the village library. The map depicted the way to the Whispering Woods and promised that the Lumina tree would reveal itself during the night of dreams, when the stars aligned perfectly with the moon. Eager to see the Lumina tree and make a wish, Finn and Lila set out on their journey as the sun began to set. The path to the Whispering Woods was illuminated by the soft, silvery light of the rising moon, and the air was filled with the gentle rustle of leaves and the faint, melodic hum of the forest. As they entered the Whispering Woods, they were greeted by the ancient trees, whose branches swayed as if whispering secrets to one another. The trees guided them to a series of challenges that needed to be overcome before they could reach the Lumina tree. The first challenge was the Trial of Echoes. They arrived at a clearing where the trees formed a circle, and in the center stood a large, intricate mirror. The mirror was covered with cryptic symbols that glowed softly. To pass this trial, they had to decipher the symbols and reveal the path forward. Lila perched on Finn's shoulder and helped him decipher the symbols, which formed a series of constellations. As Finn aligned the symbols according to the constellations, the mirror's surface shimmered and revealed a hidden path leading deeper into the forest. The second challenge was the trial of harmony. They entered a grove where glowing fireflies danced in intricate patterns, creating a mesmerizing display of light. To continue, Finn and Lila needed to create their own pattern of light using a special lantern they found along the way. Finn carefully followed the fireflies' movements, while Lila guided him with her cheerful chirps. Together, they recreated the fireflies' patterns with the lantern, which caused the fireflies to form a radiant archway that led them to the next trial. The final challenge was the trial of the heart's desire. They found themselves in a serene glade where the Lumina tree stood majestically, its branches glowing with a soft, golden light. To make their wish, they needed to show what their hearts truly desired. Finn and Lila reflected on their journey and realized that their deepest wish was not for personal gain, but for the well-being and happiness of their village and its people. They stepped forward and spoke their wish aloud. "We wish for the prosperity and joy of Briarfield, so that everyone may live in harmony and happiness." As they spoke their wish, the Lumina tree's branches glowed even brighter, and a gentle, warm light enveloped the forest. The magic of the tree spread throughout the Whispering Woods and beyond, touching the hearts of everyone in Briarfield. Finn and Lila returned to their village to find it transformed. The fields were lush, the stream sparkled with crystal-clear water, and the people were filled with joy and gratitude. The story of their adventure in the magic of the Lumina tree became a cherished tale, reminding everyone of the power of selflessness and the beauty of true wishes. And so, the Whispering Woods continued to be a place of wonder and enchantment, where the magic of the Lumina tree inspired all who ventured into its depths with a pure heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled in a lush valley, there was a mysterious old shop called the Weaving Wonders. The shop was run by a kind but reclusive woman named Elowen, who was known for her exquisite and magical tapestries. Each tapestry she wove told a story, and it was said that the threads she used were imbued with enchantments. The villagers loved Elowen's tapestries, but there was one tale that was often whispered among them, the story of the enchanted loom. According to legend, this loom had the power to weave not just beautiful tapestries but also to create magical items and fulfill the deepest desires of those who used it. However, the loom had been hidden away for many years, and its magic was believed to be lost. In this village lived a young girl named Mira. Mira had always been fascinated by the stories of magic and wonder that surrounded Elowen's shop. She was known for her curious nature and her ability to solve puzzles. One day, she overheard a conversation about the enchanted loom and decided she would find it and uncover its secrets. Mira approached Elowen's shop, which was covered in ivy and seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy. She knocked on the door, and Elowen answered with a warm, but mysterious smile. "How can I help you, dear?" she asked. Mira took a deep breath and said, "I've heard the story of the enchanted loom. I want to find it and see if the magic is real. Can you help me?" Elowen's eyes twinkled with a mix of surprise and approval. "The loom is hidden in a secret place, and only someone with a pure heart and a sharp mind can find it. If you truly wish to seek it, you must first complete 3 tasks that test your courage, kindness, and wisdom." Mira agreed eagerly, and Elowen handed her a small, ornate key and a map with strange symbols. "Follow the map, and you will find the tasks you need to complete." The map led Mira to the edge of the village and into the enchanted forest, a magical place known for its shifting paths and talking creatures. Her first task was to find the task of courage. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Mira came across a narrow bridge guarded by a fierce-looking dragon. The dragon was actually a gentle creature under a spell, and it roared to scare away intruders. Mira approached the dragon calmly and spoke to it with compassion. She learned that the dragon was protecting a magical flower that could only be retrieved by someone with a brave heart. Myra's courage and kind words broke the spell, and the dragon allowed her to pick the flower, which she placed carefully in her satchel. The next task was the task of kindness. Myra followed the map to a clearing where a family of rabbits was struggling to find food. The forest had become overgrown, making it difficult for them to find their usual nourishment. Myra used the magical flower's glow to light the way and cleared a path to a nearby meadow where the rabbits could find plenty of food. The grateful rabbits showed her the way to her next destination. The final task was the task of wisdom. Myra arrived at a stone archway with a puzzle inscribed on it. The puzzle was a series of symbols and riddles that needed to be solved to unlock the gate. Myra studied the symbols carefully and used her knowledge of the stories she had heard about the enchanted loom. With each correct answer, the archway symbols glowed brighter, and the gate slowly opened. Beyond the gate was a hidden chamber bathed in soft, golden light. At the center of the chamber stood the enchanted loom, its wooden frame intricately carved with magical runes. The loom was surrounded by vibrant threads of every color, shimmering as if alive. Myra approached the loom with awe. As she touched it, the loom began to weave a tapestry before her eyes. The tapestry depicted scenes of the village, its people, and the wonders of the enchanted forest. Myra realized that the loom's true magic was in its ability to bring people's dreams and desires to life through its weavings. With a heart full of gratitude, Myra returned to Eloan's shop and shared her adventure. Eloan was delighted and revealed that the loom had chosen Myra because of her pure heart and unwavering spirit. Myra's bravery, kindness, and wisdom had restored the loom's magic, and the village was once again filled with the enchantment of its beautiful tapestries. From then on, Myra and Eloan worked together to create magical tapestries that brought joy and wonder to the village. The enchanted loom became a symbol of the village's unity and the power of believing in the magic within one's heart. And so, the tale of Myra and the enchanted loom became a cherished story, teaching that with courage, kindness, and wisdom, one can uncover the greatest of treasures and bring magic into the world. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there was a magical tree known as the Whispering Willow. This ancient willow had silver leaves that shimmered in the moonlight, and it was said to possess the power to grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who truly believed in its magic. In the village lived a kind-hearted girl named Mia. Mia loved the Whispering Willow deeply and often visited it to talk about her dreams and hopes. Her greatest wish was to bring happiness to her family and friends, who had been facing hard times lately. Her father, a skilled carpenter, had fallen ill, and her mother worked tirelessly to make ends meet. One crisp autumn evening, as the golden leaves fell around her, Mia sat by the Whispering Willow and whispered her wish into the gentle breeze. She asked for a miracle that would restore joy and prosperity to her family and the village. The next morning, Mia awoke to find a small, intricately carved wooden box on her doorstep. The box was adorned with delicate patterns and a shimmering silver key. There was no note, but Mia sensed that it was connected to her wish. The secret of the box. Mia took the box to the Whispering Willow, hoping it would offer some guidance. As she approached, the tree's leaves rustled softly, and she could hear faint whispers in the breeze. The silver key seemed to glow with a soft, inviting light. Mia unlocked the box, revealing a beautifully crafted locket inside. The locket had a tiny portrait of the Whispering Willow etched into it and a small compartment that held a single golden seed. The locket seemed to hum with a gentle, magical energy. The Whispering Willow's whispers grew clearer, and Mia understood that the locket was a key to unlocking a hidden treasure that would help her village. The golden seed was the heart of this treasure, which needed to be planted in a special place. The journey to the hidden garden. The tree's whispers guided Mia to a remote part of the forest, where a hidden garden was said to be located. It was a place of legends, rumored to be enchanted and filled with mystical creatures. Mia set out with the locket, the golden seed, and her loyal dog, Jasper, by her side. They journeyed through the forest, facing various challenges along the way. They crossed a crystal-clear stream with the help of a kind-hearted water sprite, solved riddles posed by a wise old fox, and navigated through a maze of enchanted vines that seemed to change paths. After a long and arduous journey, they finally reached the hidden garden. The garden was a breathtaking sight, filled with vibrant flowers, glowing trees, and a sparkling fountain at its center. Mia found a secluded spot near the fountain, where she planted the golden seed. As soon as the seed was planted, the garden began to shimmer with a brilliant light. Flowers bloomed instantly, and the fountain's water sparkled like diamonds. The magic of the garden was undeniable, and Mia could feel a powerful, positive energy radiating from it. The miracle of the hidden garden with the garden's magic in full bloom, Mia and Jasper returned to the village. To their amazement, the once struggling village had transformed. The crops in the fields were flourishing, the river's water was crystal clear, and the village's spirits had lifted. Mia's father recovered from his illness, and her mother's hard work became a joyful endeavor rather than a struggle. The villagers gathered to celebrate, and Mia's wish had indeed come true. The magic of the hidden garden had brought prosperity and happiness back to their lives. The whispering willow's whispers grew softer, and Mia felt a deep sense of gratitude. She knew that the real magic lay in the love and care that the villagers had for one another, and the hidden garden was a reminder of the power of hope and kindness. A lasting legacy in the years that followed, the village of Mia flourished, and the story of the whispering willow and the hidden garden was passed down through generations. The garden remained a secret haven for those who needed inspiration and renewal, and the village thrived under its magic. Mia grew up to become a beloved storyteller, sharing the tale of the whispering willow and the hidden garden with children and visitors. Her story was a beacon of hope, teaching the value of believing in magic, kindness, and the importance of never giving up on one's dreams. And so, the village of Lumina continued to shine brightly, its people forever touched by the magic of the whispering willow and the hidden treasure that restored their joy and prosperity. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. The village was named after a magnificent willow tree that stood at its center. This willow tree was no ordinary tree, it was the whispering willow, known for its ability to share wisdom and secrets with those who listened carefully. In Willowbrook lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was kind-hearted, adventurous, and always eager to learn new things. She loved spending time by the whispering willow, listening to its gentle murmurs and dreaming of far-off lands and exciting adventures. One day, as Elara sat under the tree, she heard a soft, urgent whisper. The willow told her of a hidden kingdom beyond the great mountains where a powerful enchantress had cast a spell, plunging the land into eternal darkness. The enchantress had stolen the Heart of Light, a magical gem that kept the kingdom bright and prosperous. Without it, the hidden kingdom was doomed. Determined to help, Elara set off on a quest to find the hidden kingdom and retrieve the Heart of Light. She packed some provisions, said goodbye to her family, and set out on her journey. As Elara traveled through dense forests and crossed swift rivers, she encountered a wise old fox named Finn. Finn had heard of Elara's quest and offered to accompany her. "The road ahead is fraught with dangers," he said, "but together, we can overcome them." Elara gratefully accepted Finn's help, and the two continued their journey. They traveled for days, facing many challenges along the way. They crossed the treacherous moonlit marsh, where they were guided by glowing fireflies, and climbed the towering crystal cliffs, where they met a kind-hearted eagle named Alicia, who gave them a ride across the chasm. One evening, as they camped under the stars, an old woman appeared before them. She was the enchantress of the enchanted forest, who had heard of their quest and wanted to help. She gave Elara a silver locket and said, "This locket holds a piece of the Heart of Light. It will guide you to the hidden kingdom and protect you from the enchantress's dark magic." With renewed hope, Elara, Finn, and Alicia continued their journey. The locket's light guided them through the darkest parts of the forest and over the highest mountains. Finally, they arrived at the hidden kingdom, shrouded in shadows and despair. The enchantress's castle stood tall and ominous in the distance. As they approached, the enchantress appeared before them, her eyes filled with malice. "You dare to challenge me?" she sneered. "You will never retrieve the Heart of Light." Elara stepped forward, holding the silver locket. "I believe in the power of light and love," she said boldly. "And I will not let you keep this kingdom in darkness." The enchantress laughed and summoned a storm of dark magic. But as the magic swirled around them, the locket glowed brighter and brighter. The light from the locket enveloped Alara, Finn, and Alicia, protecting them from the enchantress's spells. With a burst of courage, Alara held the locket high. Its light pierced through the darkness and shattered the enchantress's magic. The enchantress cried out in defeat and vanished into the shadows. Alara and her companions entered the castle and found the Heart of Light, hidden in a dark chamber. As Alara touched the gem, it began to glow, filling the room with radiant light. The kingdom was restored, and the people rejoiced as the darkness lifted. Alara, Finn, and Alicia returned to Willowbrook, heroes of their time. The Whispering Willow welcomed them back with joyful whispers, sharing their story with all who would listen. The village celebrated their bravery and the return of light to the hidden kingdom. And so, Alara's name became a legend in Eldoria, a tale of courage, friendship, and the power of light over darkness. The Whispering Willow continued to share its wisdom, and Alara lived a life full of adventures, always guided by the light within her heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed the tale. Once upon a time, in a picturesque kingdom called Eldoria, there was a charming village named Rosewood. Rosewood was renowned for its beautiful gardens and its magnificent carousel that stood in the village square. This was no ordinary carousel. It was said to be enchanted, with each of its whimsical creatures, horses, unicorns, and dragons, coming to life at twilight. In Rosewood lived a kind-hearted girl named Mia. Mia loved the carousel more than anything, especially its majestic unicorn named Luna. Every evening, Mia would visit the carousel to watch the sunset and listen to the magical music it played. The villagers believed that the carousel's magic kept their land joyful and peaceful. One evening, as twilight approached, a dark cloud began to gather over the kingdom. The carousel's music grew faint and strained, and the once vibrant colors of the enchanted creatures began to fade. Mia's heart sank as she realized that the carousel's magic was waning. The village elder, a gentle man named Cedric, called a meeting and revealed that the source of the carousel's magic, the Heartstone of Harmony, had been stolen. The Heartstone was hidden in a secret chamber beneath the carousel and was the key to the enchantment that kept the village in harmony. Without it, the carousel's magic would continue to weaken, and darkness would slowly consume Rosewood. Determined to save her village and her beloved carousel, Mia decided to embark on a quest to retrieve the Heartstone. Accompanied by Luna, who had magically transformed into a shimmering unicorn, and her clever friend Oliver, a small and resourceful mouse, Mia set off towards the enchanted forest, where the Heartstone was rumored to be hidden. Their journey began with a series of magical challenges. The first challenge was a labyrinth of towering, enchanted hedges. As they ventured into the maze, the hedges seemed to shift and rearrange themselves. A friendly, talking owl perched on a high branch noticed their struggle. "To navigate this maze, you must answer my riddle," the owl said with a hoot. "I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have lungs, yet I need air. I don't have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I?" Mia thought hard and finally answered, "A fire." The owl nodded and flapped its wings, causing the hedges to part and reveal the way forward. Mia, Luna, and Oliver continued their journey and soon reached a shimmering river guarded by a gentle, glowing water nymph. "To cross this river, you must show kindness," the nymph said. "My waters are troubled, and I need help. Can you restore their clarity?" Mia took out a vial of enchanted dust she had brought for emergencies and sprinkled it over the river. The waters cleared instantly, and the nymph created a bridge of sparkling water for them to cross. As they proceeded, they arrived at a dense grove where they encountered a fierce, shadowy guardian who blocked their way. The guardian, a formidable figure with glowing eyes, challenged them to a test of courage. "To proceed, you must confront your greatest fear," the guardian declared. Mia took a deep breath and stepped forward. She faced her fear of darkness and embraced it with unwavering courage. Her bravery illuminated the grove with a warm, golden light, causing the guardian to step aside and reveal a hidden path leading to a grand, ancient oak tree. At the base of the oak tree was a hidden door. Mia, Luna, and Oliver entered the chamber beneath the tree and found the Heartstone of Harmony lying on a pedestal, surrounded by dark enchantments. A menacing sorceress named Malina appeared, having stolen the Heartstone to harness its power for herself. "You cannot take the Heartstone," Malina hissed. "Its power is mine." Mia stood her ground, her heart filled with determination. "The Heartstone belongs to the people of Rosewood. It should be used to bring harmony, not to sow discord." Malina raised her staff, but Luna charged forward, using her unicorn's magic to deflect the sorceress's attacks. Oliver darted around, creating distractions. Mia seized the Heartstone and, with a burst of light, shattered Malina's staff, breaking the dark enchantments. With the Heartstone in her possession, Mia and her friends returned to Rosewood. As they approached the village, Mia placed the Heartstone back into the pedestal beneath the carousel. The enchanted creatures sprang back to life, and the carousel's music resumed its joyful melody, filling the air with magic once more. The villagers celebrated with a grand festival, dancing under the stars and marveling at the revitalized carousel. The Heartstone's magic was restored, and Rosewood thrived, its gardens blooming brighter than ever and its people filled with renewed happiness. Mia's bravery and kindness became legendary in Rosewood, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of courage, friendship, and the magic of harmony. And so, the village of Rosewood continued to bask in the light of the enchanted carousel, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land far away, nestled between majestic mountains in a serene, crystal-clear lake, there lay the kingdom of Verdania. Verdania was a place of beauty and tranquility, known for its lush gardens and vibrant flora. The heart of this kingdom was a magical garden called the Enchanted Grove, which was said to be blessed by fairies. At the center of this grove grew the legendary Crystal Bloom, a flower of unmatched beauty that glowed with an inner light and was believed to possess the power to heal any ailment and bring prosperity to the land. The Crystal Bloom had flourished for centuries, its magic ensuring the well-being of Verdania. However, one fateful night, a terrible storm ravaged the kingdom. Lightning struck the enchanted grove, and the Crystal Bloom's light began to fade. The people of Verdania grew worried, for they knew that without the bloom's magic, their kingdom would fall into disrepair. King Alaric, a wise and just ruler, called upon the bravest and most skilled individuals in his kingdom to embark on a quest to save the Crystal Bloom. Among those who stepped forward was a young girl named Elara. Elara was not of noble birth, but she possessed a heart full of courage and a deep love for her homeland. She had grown up hearing stories of the Crystal Bloom and dreamed of one day seeing it in all its glory. "Your Majesty," Elara said, bowing before the king, "I may not be a knight or a scholar, but I will do whatever it takes to save the Crystal Bloom and our kingdom." King Alaric looked into Elara's determined eyes and nodded. "Very well, Elara. You shall lead this quest. Take this map, which shows the way to the sacred glade where the guardian of the Crystal Bloom resides. Seek his guidance, and may the spirits of Verdania watch over you." With the map in hand, Elara set off on her journey. She traveled through dense forests and across rushing rivers, determined to reach the sacred glade. Along the way, she encountered a mischievous sprite named Puck. Puck, intrigued by Elara's bravery, decided to accompany her. "Hello, brave traveler," Puck chirped, fluttering around her. "I know these woods well. Let me guide you, for the path to the sacred glade is fraught with danger." Elara was grateful for Puck's help, and together they ventured deeper into the forest. Soon, they reached the first challenge, a massive, thorny briar blocking their path. Puck grinned. "This is easy. Watch and learn." He darted around, sprinkling sparkling dust on the thorns. The briars parted, revealing a clear path. "Thank you, Puck," Elara said with a smile. They continued on their journey, their path now clear of obstacles. After several days of travel, they arrived at the sacred glade. At its center stood an ancient, towering tree with bark that shimmered like silver. Beneath the tree sat the guardian of the Crystal Bloom, a wise old elf named Eldrin. "Greetings, young Elara," Eldrin said in a voice that resonated with the wisdom of ages. I know why you have come. To restore the crystal bloom, you must retrieve the Heartstone, a gem of pure light that lies within the Cavern of Echoes. Elara listened intently as Eldrin continued, the Cavern of Echoes is a perilous place, filled with illusions and challenges. Only those with a pure heart and unwavering determination can obtain the Heartstone. With renewed determination, Elara and Puck set off for the Cavern of Echoes. The cavern was hidden deep within the mountains, and its entrance was guarded by a formidable stone golem. To enter, the golem rumbled, "You must answer this riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment before answering, "An echo." The golem stepped aside, allowing them to enter the cavern. Inside, the walls glittered with crystals that reflected light in mesmerizing patterns. As they ventured deeper, the air grew colder, and the path became more treacherous. Shadows danced on the walls, creating illusions that tried to lead them astray. "Stay close, Elara," Puck whispered, sensing the magic at work. They pressed on, relying on their bond and determination to guide them. Finally, they reached the heart of the cavern, where a pedestal of pure crystal stood. Atop it rested the Heartstone, glowing with a radiant light. Elara approached it with reverence and carefully lifted the gem. As she did, the cavern seemed to tremble, and a deep voice echoed through the chambers. "You have proven your worth, Elara," the voice intoned. "Take the Heartstone and restore the crystal bloom. May its light bring prosperity to Verdania once more." Elara and Puck made their way back to the enchanted grove, the Heartstone's light illuminating their path. When they arrived, they placed the gem at the base of the crystal bloom. The flower absorbed the light, and its petals began to glow with renewed brilliance. The magic of the Heartstone flowed through the grove, restoring its beauty and vitality. The people of Verdania rejoiced as the crystal bloom's magic spread throughout the kingdom, bringing abundance and joy. King Alaric honored Elara for her bravery and determination, and she became a beloved hero of the land. From that day forward, the crystal bloom flourished, its light a beacon of hope and prosperity. Elara's story was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of courage, love, and the unwavering spirit of a young girl who dared to embark on a quest to save her homeland. And so, Verdania thrived, its gardens blooming in vibrant colors, and its people living in harmony under the watchful glow of the crystal bloom. Once upon a time, in a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a magical village named Mistwood. Mistwood was renowned for its lush greenery and sparkling streams, but what truly set it apart was the Whispering Wind, a gentle breeze that carried secrets and stories from the past. The Whispering Wind was said to be the spirit of the valley, guiding the villagers with its soft murmurings. It was believed that if one listened carefully, the wind would reveal hidden truths and offer guidance. But the wind had grown silent in recent months, leaving the villagers anxious and uncertain. In Mistwood lived a brave and curious girl named Elara. She had always been captivated by the tales told by the Whispering Wind. When the wind stopped whispering, Elara felt a deep sense of loss and knew she had to do something to restore its voice. One evening, under a sky painted with hues of twilight, Elara set out to find the source of the Whispering Wind's silence. With a small satchel of supplies and her loyal companion, a clever fox named Finn, she ventured into the enchanted forest that bordered Mistwood. The forest was alive with vibrant colors and strange sounds, but the deeper Elara and Finn went, the denser the forest became. After hours of walking, they came across a clearing with an ancient, towering oak tree. At the base of the tree was a gnarled old man, his face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat. He was carving runes into the earth with a wooden staff. "Greetings, traveler," the old man said without looking up. "I am Orin, the keeper of the ancient whispers. What brings you to this part of the forest?" Elara introduced herself and explained the plight of the Whispering Wind. Orin listened intently and then nodded. "To restore the Whispering Wind, you must retrieve 3 lost tokens of its essence that were scattered long ago: a feather of the sky bird, a drop of the moon's tears, and a petal from the star blossom. These tokens hold the key to the wind's voice." Elara and Finn set off to find the first token, the feather of the sky bird. they climbed to the highest peak in the enchanted forest, where the sky bird was said to dwell. The bird was a magnificent creature with feathers like cascading rainbows. After a delicate negotiation, the sky bird agreed to give up one of its feathers in exchange for a promise: Elara must help its fledglings learn to fly. With the feather in hand, Elara and Finn proceeded to find the second token, a drop of the moon's tears. They reached a serene, silver lake under the light of the full moon. The moon's tears were said to fall from the sky into the lake once every 100 years. Elara waited patiently until a single drop fell into the water. She gently collected it in a vial, as the moon's reflection smiled down upon her. For the final token, the petal from the star blossom, they ventured to the heart of the forest, where a mystical garden bloomed under starlight. The star blossom was a rare flower that only bloomed under the most brilliant of stars. Elara carefully picked a single petal, ensuring that the flower remained intact and healthy. With all 3 tokens in her possession, Elara and Finn returned to the ancient oak tree where Orin awaited them. She presented the feather, the drop of moonlight, and the petal, and Orin began to weave them together with a spell. As Orin completed the spell, a soft, melodious whisper began to flow through the forest. The whispering wind had returned, its voice carrying stories and secrets once more. The breeze picked up, weaving through Mistwood and bringing with it a renewed sense of wonder and guidance. The villagers of Mistwood rejoiced as the whispering wind's voice returned, guiding them with its gentle murmurs. Elara's bravery and perseverance became legendary, and she was honored as the village's heroine. And so, Mistwood thrived once more under the watchful embrace of the whispering wind, and Elara's story became a cherished tale of courage and hope, reminding all who heard it that even the quietest whispers hold great power. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between the rolling hills and vast oceans, there was a small village called Glimmerbrook. This village was renowned for its beautiful gardens, which were said to be blessed by the stars themselves. The most extraordinary of these gardens belonged to a kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra had inherited the garden from her grandmother, who had taught her the secrets of nurturing the magical plants that grew there. Every night, the flowers in Lyra's garden would glow softly, as if kissed by starlight, and their sweet fragrance would fill the air. One evening, as Lyra tended to her garden, a soft voice called out from the shadows. It was a fairy named Elara, her wings shimmering like silver moonlight. "Lyra," said Elara, "your garden is beautiful, but it holds a greater destiny. The stars have chosen you for a special task." Curious and a little anxious, Lyra listened as Elara explained. "Far beyond the mountains lies the Valley of Shadows, a place where light and hope have been forgotten. The heart of the garden, a magical flower that blooms once every century, can restore light to the valley. You must find this flower and bring it back before the next full moon." Determined to help, Lyra agreed. The next morning, she set out on her journey, accompanied by her loyal cat, Luna, who had a knack for sensing magic. They traveled through dense forests, across roaring rivers, and up steep mountains. One night, as they camped under the stars, Lyra heard a rustling sound. Luna's eyes glowed in the dark, and they soon spotted a figure approaching. It was a wise old turtle named Tiberius, who had heard of their quest. "I can guide you through the Valley of Shadows," he offered. "But beware, the valley is guarded by a sorrowful spirit who will try to discourage you." With Tiberius leading the way, Lyra and Luna finally reached the edge of the Valley of Shadows. The air was heavy, and the once vibrant land was now bleak and desolate. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the spirit, a ghostly figure named Seraphina. Seraphina's voice was a whispering wind, filled with sadness. "Turn back, young one. This place is lost, and no flower can restore it." But Lyra, with her heart full of hope, replied, "I believe in the power of the heart of the garden. Please, let me try." Seraphina was moved by Lyra's determination. "Very well," she sighed. "If you can find the flower, perhaps there is hope after all." With renewed resolve, Lyra and her companions searched the valley. After what felt like days, they stumbled upon a hidden grove where the heart of the garden lay dormant, its petals closed tightly. Lyra gently touched the flower, and it began to bloom, radiating a light so pure that it chased away the shadows. The Valley of Shadows transformed before their eyes. Flowers began to bloom, the air grew lighter, and the sun pierced through the clouds. Seraphina's spirit smiled, finally at peace, and she vanished into the light. Lyra carefully carried the heart of the garden back to Glimmerbrook, where it took root in her garden. The magical flower's light spread throughout the village, bringing prosperity and happiness to all. Lyra's bravery and kindness became a legend, and the starlit garden continued to bloom, a testament to the power of hope and the magic of the stars. And so, Lyra, Luna, and the village of Glimmerbrook lived happily ever after, under the watchful eyes of the stars. I hope you enjoyed the tale. Once upon a time, in a world where time flowed with a gentle rhythm, there existed a hidden realm known as the Clockwork Kingdom. This kingdom was unique, for everything within it, from the grand castles to the smallest flowers, was made of intricate gears, cogs, and shimmering metals. The kingdom was ruled by the wise and kind Clockmaker King, who ensured that every gear and cog worked in perfect harmony to keep time flowing smoothly. In the Clockwork Kingdom lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was not a princess, but she had a special gift. She could hear the gentle hum of the gears and cogs that made up the kingdom. This gift allowed her to understand the intricate workings of the kingdom's magical machinery. Elara loved the Clockwork Kingdom dearly and spent her days exploring its many wonders. One day, a mysterious problem arose. The Grand Clock Tower, which stood at the heart of the kingdom and was crucial for keeping time, began to slow down. The once steady tick-tock of the clock became irregular, and the gears inside the tower started to grind and seize. Without the Grand Clock Tower functioning properly, time in the kingdom would soon come to a halt, and everything would fall into chaos. The Clockmaker King called upon his best engineers and artisans to solve the problem, but none could fix the malfunction. The king's face grew grave as he realized that the problem might be beyond even their combined skills. Elara, sensing the urgency and knowing she had a special connection with the kingdom's magic, approached the king with determination. "Your Majesty," Elara said, "I believe I can help. I have a gift that allows me to understand the gears and cogs of our kingdom in ways others might not. May I try to solve the problem?" The king, though hesitant, agreed. Elara set off toward the Grand Clock Tower with a heart full of hope and determination. As she approached the tower, she could feel the tension and distress of the gears. She carefully examined the mechanisms, listening to the subtle changes in their hum. In the depths of the clock tower, Elara discovered an ancient, dusty gear that was unlike any she had seen before. It was intricately engraved with mysterious symbols and seemed to be stuck, preventing the other gears from moving smoothly. Elara realized that this ancient gear must be the source of the problem. She carefully cleaned and polished the gear, but it still wouldn't move. Elara remembered a legend about a forgotten spell that could revive ancient magic. According to the legend, the spell required a drop of starlight and a heartfelt wish. Elara knew that she had to find a way to obtain these. As night fell, Elara climbed to the top of the Clockwork Kingdom's tallest tower, where the stars twinkled brilliantly. With her heart full of hope, she made a wish upon the stars, asking them to help restore the magic of the ancient gear. A gentle, shimmering light descended from the sky, touching the gear and filling it with a warm, soothing glow. With the starlight's magic reviving the gear, it began to turn smoothly, and the other gears in the Grand Clock Tower started to move in harmony once more. The clock's hands resumed their steady tick-tock, and the kingdom's time flowed seamlessly again. Elara returned to the Clockmaker King, who greeted her with immense gratitude. "You have saved our kingdom, Elara. Your bravery and connection to our magic have restored the harmony we thought we had lost." The king and the people of the Clockwork Kingdom celebrated Elara's success with a grand festival, where the air was filled with the cheerful sound of ticking clocks and the gleaming sparkle of clockwork decorations. Elara was honored as a hero, and the Clockmaker King appointed her as the kingdom's new chief timekeeper, a position that allowed her to continue her work in maintaining the harmony of the kingdom's time. The Clockwork Kingdom thrived once more, its gears and cogs working perfectly in sync. Elara's gift and bravery had preserved the magic and balance of the kingdom, and her tale became a cherished legend. And so, The Clockwork Kingdom continued to shine, its time flowing gracefully and its people living in harmony, thanks to the bravery of one girl who listened to the hum of the gears and followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, there was a beautiful garden known as the Moonlit Garden. This garden was magical, blooming only under the light of the full moon. The villagers spoke of its wonders with awe, for it was said that the flowers in the garden could heal, grant wishes, and reveal secrets to those who were pure of heart. In this village lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her kindness and her deep love for nature. She spent her days tending to the village's garden and helping those in need. However, Lila had always been fascinated by the moonlit garden and longed to visit it. But the garden was hidden deep within the forest, and its entrance was revealed only on nights when the full moon shone brightly. One night, as the full moon cast its silver glow over the village, Lila decided it was the perfect time to explore the moonlit garden. Armed with a lantern and a heart full of dreams, she ventured into the forest, guided by the light of the moon and her sense of wonder. As Lila walked through the forest, she followed a trail of moonlit petals that seemed to appear magically beneath her feet. The deeper she went, the more the forest seemed to sparkle with the moon's light. After a while, Lila arrived at the entrance of the moonlit garden, a hidden archway covered in glowing vines and flowers. With a sense of excitement and awe, Lila stepped through the archway and into the garden. It was even more enchanting than she had imagined. The garden was filled with flowers of every color imaginable, each glowing softly in the moonlight. The air was filled with a sweet, melodious fragrance, and the garden seemed to hum with a gentle, soothing energy. In the center of the garden stood a magnificent fountain made of crystal, its waters shimmering with moonlight. Surrounding the fountain were several pathways lined with glowing flowers, each leading to a different part of the garden. As Lila wandered through the garden, she encountered a wise old turtle resting on a moss-covered rock. The turtle looked up at Lila with gentle eyes and spoke in a soft, ancient voice. "Welcome, kind-hearted visitor," said the turtle. "The moonlit garden has many wonders, but only those with a pure heart can truly understand its magic. If you wish to receive its gifts, you must first answer a question." Lila nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "What is the question?" The turtle's eyes sparkled as it asked, "What is the most precious thing in the world that cannot be seen or touched but is felt deeply by the heart?" Lila thought for a moment and then answered with conviction, "Love." The turtle smiled and nodded. "You have answered wisely. The moonlit garden's magic is a reflection of the love and kindness you carry in your heart. The garden's true gift is the ability to reveal what is most important to you." With that, the fountain's waters began to glow brighter, and the flowers around the garden sparkled with a dazzling light. Lila felt a warm, comforting presence envelop her, and she realized that the garden was revealing her heart's deepest wish. Suddenly, Lila saw visions of her village flourishing with vibrant gardens and happy, healthy people. She saw herself helping others and bringing joy to those around her. The moonlit garden had shown her that her true wish was not just for personal gain but for the well-being and happiness of her entire village. With a heart full of gratitude, Lila thanked the garden and the wise old turtle. She knew that the magic of the moonlit garden was not just in its beauty but in the way it had illuminated her own heart's desires. As she made her way back to the village, Lila carried with her the garden's gift of inspiration. She dedicated herself to transforming her village, planting new gardens, and spreading kindness and joy. The villagers soon noticed the changes and marveled at the beauty and prosperity that had come to their homes. Lila's efforts brought the village closer together, and the once hidden magic of the moonlit garden became a part of their everyday lives. The garden's legend lived on, reminding everyone of the true magic that lies within their hearts and the power of love and kindness. And so, Lila's village thrived, and the moonlit garden continued to bloom under the light of the full moon, a symbol of the magic that exists in the world when hearts are open and filled with love. The end. Once upon a time, in a faraway land known as Eldoria, there was a magnificent kingdom surrounded by lush forests, sparkling rivers, and towering mountains. Eldoria was ruled by the wise and kind Queen Seraphina, who was loved by all her subjects. The kingdom was renowned for its beauty and prosperity, but there was one thing that made it truly unique: a magical lantern that floated high above the castle, casting a warm, golden light over the entire realm. The lantern, known as the Beacon of Eldoria, was said to hold the power to keep the kingdom flourishing and safe from harm. It was also a symbol of hope and unity for the people. But one fateful day, the lantern's light began to flicker and dim. Panic spread throughout the kingdom, for without the lantern's light, Eldoria would lose its magic and fall into darkness. Among the many people in the kingdom was a brave young girl named Lila. Lila was an orphan who lived on the outskirts of the village, but she had always admired the lantern's beauty and felt a deep connection to it. Determined to save her beloved kingdom, Lila decided to embark on a quest to restore the lantern's light. Equipped with a small satchel and her loyal dog, Pip, Lila set off on her journey. She traveled through the dense forests and crossed the sparkling rivers, guided by the faint, flickering light of the lantern. Her path led her to a hidden cave at the base of the misty mountains, where an ancient inscription read, "To restore the light, seek the heart of the stars." Inside the cave, Lila discovered a hidden chamber with 3 magical artifacts: a shimmering crystal, a golden key, and a silver compass. The inscription on the wall instructed her to find the heart of the stars, which was hidden deep within the enchanted forest, a place known for its magical creatures and mysteries. Lila followed the silver compass, which led her through the enchanted forest. The forest was filled with glowing flowers, talking animals, and whimsical creatures. As she walked, she encountered a wise old owl named Orion who perched on a branch. "Hello, young traveler," Orion hooted. "I can see you seek the heart of the stars. To find it, you must prove your bravery and kindness." Orion presented Lila with 3 challenges. The first was to help a family of lost fireflies find their way home. With Pip's help, Lila gently guided the fireflies back to their glowing nest. The second challenge was to mend a broken bridge that spanned a rushing river. Lila used her resourcefulness and the golden key from the cave to fix the bridge, allowing travelers to cross safely. The third challenge was to calm a frightened unicorn who had lost its way. Lila spoke soothingly to the unicorn and used the shimmering crystal to create a calming light that reassured the creature. Impressed by Lila's kindness and bravery, Orion revealed the location of the Heart of the Stars, a hidden grove illuminated by starlight. Lila and Pip ventured to the grove, where they found a beautiful, glowing star-shaped gem resting on a pedestal. As Lila reached for the Heart of the Stars, the grove began to shimmer with a celestial light. The gem's glow grew brighter, and Lila felt a warm, comforting energy envelop her. She realized that the Heart of the Stars was not only a magical artifact but also a symbol of hope and unity. With the Heart of the Stars in hand, Lila returned to the castle. The lantern's light began to grow stronger as she approached, and the kingdom's magic was restored. The Beacon of Eldoria shone brightly once more, casting its golden light over the land and ensuring the prosperity and safety of the kingdom. Queen Seraphina and the people of Eldoria welcomed Lila with open arms and celebrated her bravery. The lantern's magic had been restored, and the kingdom thrived under its warm, golden glow. Lila's journey became a beloved story in Eldoria, a tale of courage, kindness, and the power of hope. She found a new home in the heart of the kingdom, where she continued to live happily ever after, always ready for new adventures and discoveries. And so, the Beacon of Eldoria continued to shine brightly, a symbol of the kingdom's enduring magic and the heroism of a young girl who saved it. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there stood an ancient well at the heart of the village square. The well was known to the villagers as the Enchanted Well. It was said to possess magical powers that could grant one true wish to those who were pure of heart and faced great challenges. In this village lived a young girl named Isla. Isla was known for her generosity and bravery, always ready to help others in need. Her family was modest, but their hearts were full of love. Despite her joyful spirit, Isla had one deep wish: she wanted to help her village thrive and bring prosperity to everyone who lived there. One winter's day, the village was struck by a terrible frost that lasted longer than usual. The crops withered, and the once bustling market square fell silent. The villagers struggled to keep warm and find enough food. Seeing her neighbors in distress, Isla decided to seek out the enchanted well for help. One evening, under the light of the full moon, Isla made her way to the well. She took with her a single lantern and a small sack of bread, knowing that many in the village were hungry. As she approached the well, she saw that its surface was covered in frost, and the water inside was frozen. Isla spoke softly to the well, "Great enchanted well, I wish to bring prosperity back to our village and help those in need. Please, if you can grant one true wish, let it be for the good of everyone." The well remained silent, and Isla felt a pang of doubt. But just as she was about to leave, she heard a faint, melodious voice. The water in the well began to shimmer, and a gentle mist rose from its depths. "Isla, you have a noble heart," the voice said. "To bring prosperity to your village, you must first embark on a journey to find the 3 keys of harmony. Only then can the true magic of the enchanted well be revealed." With newfound determination, Isla set off on her quest. The first key was said to be hidden in the Whispering Forest, where the trees were known to speak in hushed tones. As Isla entered the forest, she listened carefully to the whispers of the trees, which guided her to a hidden glade. There, she found a golden key embedded in a bed of moss. The second key was rumored to be in the crystal caves, where the walls sparkled with the light of countless gems. To reach the key, Isla had to navigate through a maze of glittering passages. Her courage and patience led her to the heart of the cave, where she discovered a silver key resting atop a pedestal. For the final key, Isla needed to climb the towering peak, a high mountain that was often shrouded in mist. The ascent was challenging, and Isla faced strong winds and freezing temperatures. But with perseverance, she reached the summit and found the third key, made of shimmering stardust, hidden in a small, celestial alcove. Having collected all 3 keys, Isla returned to the enchanted well. As she approached, the well's water began to flow once more, and the air was filled with a soft, harmonious melody. Isla placed the 3 keys in a small, ornate box beside the well. The water in the well sparkled brightly, and a brilliant light erupted, enveloping the village in a warm, golden glow. The frost lifted, and the crops began to flourish once again. The villagers rejoiced as their market square came alive with the sights and sounds of prosperity. Isla's selflessness and bravery had restored the magic of the enchanted well, bringing hope and abundance back to her village. She was celebrated as a hero, not for her own gain, but for the love and care she had shown to her community. From that day on, the village thrived, and the enchanted well continued to stand as a symbol of the magic that can be achieved through compassion and perseverance. The story of Isla and the well was passed down through generations, a reminder of the power of selfless wishes and the wonders that can be achieved when hearts are filled with love and courage. And so, Isla's village remained a place of joy and prosperity, forever touched by the magic of the enchanted well. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her extraordinary ability to listen to the stars. At night, when the sky was clear, she would sit by her window, gaze up at the twinkling stars, and whisper her dreams and wishes to them. One evening, as Lila sat under the starlit sky, she noticed a star twinkling more brightly than the others. It seemed to be beckoning her. With a heart full of curiosity and wonder, Lila decided to follow the star's light. She left her cozy cottage and ventured out into the night, guided by the star's shimmering path. The star led Lila through the forest, past ancient trees and over babbling brooks. After a long journey, she arrived at the edge of a mysterious, enchanted meadow bathed in moonlight. In the center of the meadow stood a magnificent, glowing tree, its branches adorned with golden leaves and silver flowers. As Lila approached the tree,
she noticed a small, delicate fairy fluttering near its base. The fairy had wings that sparkled like stardust and a smile as bright as the moon. She introduced herself as Seraphina, the guardian of the star tree. "Welcome, Lila," Seraphina said. "I have been waiting for you. This star has chosen you for a special mission." Lila's eyes widened with excitement. "What mission?" Seraphina explained that the star tree had been losing its light because the stars were losing their magic. The only way to restore their magic was to gather stardust from the farthest corners of the world and return it to the tree. I can help with that, Lila said, determined. But how will I find the stardust? Seraphina handed Lila a silver vial and a small, ornate map. This map will guide you to the places where the stardust can be found. But be careful, for the journey will be filled with challenges and enchantments. With the vial and map in hand, Lila embarked on her quest. The map led her to 3 magical places where stardust was hidden: the Whispering Caves,
the Enchanted Falls, and the Crystal Caverns. At the Whispering Caves, Lila faced a riddle from a wise old owl who guarded the stardust. She solved the riddle with her cleverness and kindness, earning the owl's respect in the small jar of stardust. Next, at the Enchanted Falls, Lila had to prove her bravery by crossing a bridge made of shimmering light. The bridge wobbled and sparkled, but Lila walked with courage, reaching the other side to find another jar of stardust hidden behind a waterfall. Finally, in the Crystal Caverns, Lila navigated through a labyrinth of dazzling crystals. She used her wits and her ability to listen to the stars for guidance. In the heart of the cavern, she discovered the last jar of stardust nestled among the crystals. With all 3 jars filled with stardust, Lila returned to the star tree. Seraphina greeted her with joy and guided her to the tree's base. Lila poured the stardust into a hollow within the tree, and a magnificent transformation occurred. The star tree's branches glowed with a renewed brilliance, and the stars in the sky shone even more brightly. Seraphina thanked Lila for her bravery and determination. You have restored the magic of the stars and saved the star tree. As a token of our gratitude, we grant you the ability to visit the stars whenever you wish. From that night on, Lila could call upon the stars to guide her and bring their wisdom into her life. She returned to her village with stories of her adventure and shared her newfound wisdom with everyone. The village thrived under Lila's guidance, and the night sky became a source of inspiration and wonder for all. Lila's connection with the stars brought a sense of magic and unity to the village, and the star tree remained a symbol of hope and enchantment. And so, under the twinkling stars, Lila and her village lived happily ever after, always guided by the light of their dreams and the magic of the night sky. The end. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Eldoria, there was a mystical forest known for its towering trees and sparkling streams. At the heart of this forest stood an ancient tree called the Whispering Willow. This tree was renowned for its ability to grant a single wish to those who were truly pure of heart. In the village of Greenwood, which lay at the edge of the forest, there lived a kind-hearted young girl named Eloan. Eloan was known throughout the village for her compassion and her love for animals. She often wandered into the forest to care for the woodland creatures and to listen to the soothing rustle of the whispering willow's leaves. One day, as Eloan was tending to a wounded fawn, she heard a soft, sorrowful whisper carried by the wind. The whispering willow was speaking to her, though she could not understand its words. That night, she had a dream in which the willow told her that it was in grave danger. The tree's magic was fading, and with it, the balance of the entire forest was at risk. Determined to save the whispering willow and protect the forest she loved, Eloan set out on a quest to discover what was causing the willow's distress. She packed a small satchel with supplies and set off into the heart of the forest, guided by the gentle light of the moon. As Eloan ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a series of magical creatures that tested her resolve. The first was a mischievous gnome named Bramble, who guarded the entrance to a hidden grove. To proceed, Bramble said with a twinkle in his eye, "You must answer my riddle." Bramble's riddle was, "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Eloan thought for a moment and answered, "A piano." Bramble chuckled and handed her a small charm. "You may pass. This charm will help you find your way." With the charm in hand, Eloan continued her journey and soon arrived at a crystal-clear pond. Here, she met a wise old water nymph named Nira, who was known for her knowledge of the forest secrets. To aid the Whispering Willow, You must first solve a question, Neera said. What is the greatest force that can heal and restore? Neera asked. Elowen replied, the greatest force is love. Neera smiled warmly and handed Elowen a vial of enchanted water. This will strengthen the willow's magic. But be cautious, for there are darker forces at work. With the vial in hand, Elowen made her way to the Whispering Willow. As she approached, she saw that the once vibrant tree was now withered and dim. Dark vines had begun to encroach upon the willow, draining its magic. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the gloom, a sorceress named Morwenna, who had been using dark magic to weaken the willow in order to take control of the forest's magic for herself. You think you can stop me? Morwenna sneered. The power of the Whispering Willow will be mine. Elowen stood firm and said, the magic of the forest belongs to all who cherish and protect it. I will not let you harm it. Morwenna raised her staff to cast a dark spell, but Elowen used the charm and the vial of enchanted water to counteract the sorceress's magic. As the water touched the roots of the Whispering Willow, the tree's magic began to rejuvenate, and the dark vines receded. The Whispering Willow's leaves began to rustle with renewed vigor, and a radiant light spread through the forest, driving Morwenna away. The sorceress, defeated, vanished into the shadows, and the balance of the forest was restored. The Whispering Willow, now vibrant and full of life, spoke to Elowen in a voice as gentle as the breeze. Thank you, dear Elowen. Your bravery and pure heart have saved me and restored harmony to the forest. As a token of our gratitude, I grant you one wish. Elowen thought for a moment and then said, I wish for the forest to remain safe and flourishing, so that all its creatures may thrive. The Whispering Willow's light grew even brighter, and the forest seemed to sing with joy. Your wish is granted. The forest will be forever protected, and its magic will remain strong. Elowen returned to her village, where she was celebrated as a hero. The Whispering Willow continued to stand tall and radiant, its magic safeguarding the forest and its inhabitants. Elowen often visited the tree, sharing her love and care with the woodland creatures and listening to the willow's gentle whispers. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria thrived in peace and harmony, forever blessed by the magic of the Whispering Willow and the courage of a young girl who loved her forest. And they lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where the stars twinkled brightly in the night sky, there was a cozy village named Lumina. The village was blessed with radiant light that came from a magical star high above in the sky. This star, known as Celestia, was said to be the source of all light in Lumina, and its glow kept the village warm and bright even in the darkest of nights. The villagers cherished Celestia and held an annual festival to honor the star's light. During this festival, every home in Lumina would light lanterns, and the sky would be filled with shimmering lights that danced and sparkled. However, one year, just before the festival was to begin, the villagers noticed that Celestia had dimmed considerably and was barely visible in the sky. Panic spread through Lumina. Without Celestia's brilliant light, the village would be plunged into darkness. The wise old elder of Lumina called a meeting and revealed that the star had become lost in a dark and dangerous realm known as the Shadowlands, a place where light could not reach. Among the villagers was a small, brave lantern named Leora. Unlike other lanterns, Leora had a special glow that never flickered, even in the harshest of winds. Determined to save her village, Leora stepped forward and volunteered to venture into the Shadowlands to find and rescue Celestia. The villagers were skeptical, but they admired Leora's courage. They gave her a small, enchanted lantern to guide her way and a map that led to the entrance of the Shadowlands. With a heart full of hope and determination, Leora set off on her journey. The path to the Shadowlands was treacherous. Leora traveled through dense forests where shadows whispered and twisted, and crossed rivers of ink-black water. But her steadfast light illuminated her path and kept her safe. As she approached the entrance to the Shadowlands, she was greeted by a large, menacing gate shrouded in darkness. Taking a deep breath, Leora passed through the gate and entered the Shadowlands. Here, the darkness was so thick it felt almost tangible. Leora's light cut through the gloom, but it seemed to grow dimmer as she ventured further. She followed the map, which led her to a labyrinth of shadowy corridors. Inside the labyrinth, Leora encountered strange and eerie creatures that lurked in the darkness. One of these creatures, a shadowy figure with glowing eyes, approached her. "Who dares enter the Shadowlands?" it growled. "I am Leora, a lantern from Lumina," she replied bravely. "I seek the star Celestia, who has been lost in this realm. I must bring her back to save my village." The shadowy figure was intrigued by Leora's bravery. The star Celestia is held captive by the Shadow King, who thrives on darkness. You will need more than light to rescue her. You must find the 3 hidden crystals that are scattered throughout the labyrinth. Each crystal holds a piece of the light that can pierce through the Shadow King's power. Leora thanked the creature and set out to find the crystals. She navigated the labyrinth, solving riddles and overcoming challenges. Each crystal she found was hidden in a place that tested her courage and resolve. One crystal was hidden behind a riddle spoken by a wise old shadow, another was guarded by a maze of shifting shadows, and the last was tucked away in a dark cavern filled with echoes of fear. With each crystal she collected, Leora's light grew stronger. When she had all 3, she felt a renewed strength and clarity. She made her way to the Shadow King's throne room, a vast, dark chamber where the Shadow King sat upon a throne of darkness. On the throne next to him was Celestia, her light barely glowing. Leora approached with determination. Release Celestia and return her to the sky, or face the power of light. The Shadow King laughed menacingly. "You think your light can defeat me?" Leora placed the 3 crystals in front of the Shadow King, and their combined light created a brilliant, piercing beam that cut through the darkness. The Shadow King's power waned as the light grew stronger, and he was forced to retreat into the deepest shadows of his realm. With Celestia freed, Leora and the star made their way back to the entrance of the Shadowlands. As they emerged, the darkness of the realm receded, and Celestia's light began to shine brightly once more. The star's glow restored the night sky to its former brilliance. Returning to Lumina, Leora and Celestia were welcomed with great celebration. The village held its festival with even greater joy than before, and the night sky was filled with the twinkling lights of the lanterns and the shimmering glow of Celestia. Leora's bravery and the light she carried became a symbol of hope and courage in Lumina. And so,
Once upon a time, in a quaint village by the sea, lived a young girl named Lily. Lily had a passion for painting and spent her days creating beautiful pictures of the world around her. Her favorite subjects were the vibrant sunsets, the colorful flowers, and the playful animals that inhabited the village. One day, while exploring the attic of her grandmother's old cottage, Lily discovered a dusty, ornate box hidden beneath a pile of old books. Curiosity piqued. She carefully opened the box and found an old paintbrush inside. The handle was made of smooth, polished wood, and the bristles seemed to shimmer in the light. As she held the paintbrush, Lily felt a strange, tingling sensation in her fingertips. She decided to test it out and dipped the brush into her paint palette. To her amazement, as soon as the bristles touched the canvas, the colors sprang to life in a way she had never seen before. The flowers she painted looked so real, she could almost smell their sweet fragrance, and the birds seemed ready to take flight. Excited by her discovery, Lily spent hours painting with the enchanted brush. She painted lush forests, serene lakes, and bustling village scenes. Each painting was more vibrant and lifelike than the last. Word of her extraordinary talent quickly spread throughout the village, and people came from far and wide to admire her art. One evening, as Lily was cleaning up her studio, an elderly woman appeared at her door. She had a kind smile and twinkling eyes. "Hello, Lily," the woman said. "I am Anara, the guardian of the enchanted paintbrush. I see you have discovered its magic." Lily was astonished. "The paintbrush is magical. How did it come to be here?" Anara explained. The paintbrush was crafted by a powerful sorcerer who loved art. He enchanted it with the ability to bring paintings to life. It has been passed down through generations, seeking out those with pure hearts and a love for creativity. You, Lily, have awakened its magic with your passion. But why is it here now? Lily asked, "The world is in need of beauty and hope." Anara replied, "The paintbrush chose you because it sensed your ability to inspire and uplift others with your art. Use it wisely, and you can bring joy and wonder to many." Lily nodded, determined to use the paintbrush for good. She continued to paint, creating magnificent landscapes and enchanting scenes that brought happiness to everyone who saw them. She painted murals on the walls of the village, turning drab buildings into vibrant works of art. She even painted a beautiful garden in the village square, where flowers bloomed all year round, and birds sang melodies that filled the air with joy. One day, a terrible storm hit the village, causing damage and despair. Homes were destroyed, and the once lively streets were filled with sadness. Lily knew she had to do something. She gathered the villagers and promised to restore their homes and bring back the village's spirit. With the enchanted paintbrush in hand, Lily began to paint. She painted sturdy houses with colorful roofs, lush gardens with blooming flowers, and clear skies with a radiant sun. As she painted, the scenes came to life, and the village was slowly restored to its former glory. The villagers watched in awe as their homes were rebuilt and their streets transformed into vibrant, cheerful places once more. The villagers were grateful beyond words. They realized that the true magic of the paintbrush was not just in its ability to bring paintings to life, but in the hope and inspiration it brought to their hearts. They celebrated Lily and her incredible gift, and the village became a place of beauty, creativity, and joy. Lily continued to paint, always using her talent to make the world a better place. She taught others to embrace their creativity and showed them that even in the darkest times, art could bring light and hope. The enchanted paintbrush remained by her side, a symbol of the magic that lies within each of us when we follow our passions and share our gifts with the world. And so, the story of Lily and the enchanted paintbrush became a legend, reminding everyone that the true magic of life lies in the beauty we create and the joy we share with others.
Once upon a time, in a tranquil kingdom surrounded by lush forests and sparkling rivers, there was a small village named Leora. Leora was known for its lush gardens, charming cottages, and a mysterious musical melody that played every full moon night. The melody was enchanting and seemed to come from the sky, but no one knew its source. In the heart of the village lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra had a deep love for music and spent her days playing her grandmother's old violin, dreaming of discovering the secret behind the moonlit melody. Her grandmother had often told her that the melody was a gift from the moon, meant to bring joy and harmony to the world. One clear night, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Lyra decided to follow the melody. She put on her warmest cloak, took her violin, and set off towards the edge of the forest, where the music seemed to be the strongest. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the moonlight danced through the trees, casting shimmering patterns on the ground. Lyra followed the melody, which grew louder and more enchanting with each step. Eventually, she came upon a glade bathed in silver light. At the center of the glade stood a magnificent tree, its branches glowing softly with moonlight. Lyra approached the tree and discovered a hidden door carved into its trunk. With a deep breath, she opened the door and found a spiral staircase leading down into a glowing chamber. The chamber was filled with twinkling lights and soft, ethereal music that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the moon. At the center of the chamber stood an elegant harp, its strings glowing with moonlight. The harp was being played by a beautiful, otherworldly figure, an enchanting moon sprite with shimmering wings and a gown made of stardust. The moon sprite's music filled the room with a sense of peace and wonder. The moon sprite looked up and smiled warmly at Lyra. "Welcome, dear child. I have been waiting for you." Lyra was amazed. "I've always wondered where the moonlit melody comes from. How is it that you play such beautiful music?" The moon sprite's eyes sparkled. "This harp is enchanted by the moon's light. It plays a melody that brings harmony and joy to the world. But every century, we must find a new musician to keep the magic alive. The moon has chosen you." Lyra was both thrilled and nervous. "But I'm just a young girl with an old violin. How can I possibly play this magical harp? The moon sprite gently handed Lyra a moonlit ribbon. Take this ribbon and wrap it around your violin. Play the melody from your heart, and it will blend with the magic of the harp. With a deep breath, Lyra took the ribbon and wrapped it around her violin. She began to play, her bow moving gracefully across the strings. As she played, the music from her violin intertwined with the harp's melody, creating a harmonious symphony that filled the chamber with an even more magical light. The moon sprite watched in delight as Lyra's music resonated with the harp's enchantment. You have a true gift, the moon sprite said. Your music will keep the magic alive and bring joy to all who hear it. As the night wore on, the moon sprite taught Lyra the secrets of the harp and the art of playing with the moon's magic. When the first light of dawn began to appear, the moon sprite bid farewell to Lyra, thanking her for sharing her music and promising that the moon's melody would continue to bring harmony to the world. Lyra returned to her village, her heart full of wonder and joy. The villagers marveled at the new, enchanting music that filled the nights, more beautiful and captivating than ever before. They celebrated Lyra's gift and her new role as the keeper of the moonlit melody. From that day on, Lyra's music became a cherished part of Leora, and the full moon nights were filled with magical melodies that brought happiness and peace to all who listened. The village thrived under the moon's gentle light, and Lyra's name became synonymous with the enchanting tunes that touched the hearts of everyone. And so, the moonlit melody continued to play, a timeless reminder of the magic that exists in music and the wonders that lie beyond the ordinary world. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by rolling hills and lush meadows, there stood a grand, ancient willow tree. This tree was known as the Whispering Willow, and it was said to hold the secrets of the past and the hopes for the future. The villagers believed that the willow could speak to those who truly listened with their hearts. In this valley lived a young girl named Arya. Arya was known for her kindness and her love for the stories of old. She often visited the Whispering Willow, sitting beneath its broad branches and listening to its rustling leaves. Though she couldn't always understand the whispers, she felt a deep connection to the tree. One day, as Arya sat by the willow, she heard a faint, sorrowful whisper carried on the breeze. It seemed to be calling for help. She listened closely and made out the words, "Help us find the lost star." Determined to uncover the source of the whisper, Arya decided to seek out the lost star. According to village legend, the lost star was a magical star that had fallen from the sky long ago, and its light was believed to bring balance and harmony to the land. Arya set off on her quest, guided by the whispers of the willow. She ventured through the valley, over hills, and into a dense forest where the trees were tall and the air was filled with the scent of pine. The forest was dark and mysterious, but Arya's heart was brave. As she wandered deeper into the forest, Arya came across a sparkling stream. She followed the stream and soon discovered a hidden grotto with walls that glistened like gemstones. In the center of the grotto lay a small, golden chest covered in intricate patterns. Arya carefully opened the chest and found an ancient map and a shimmering star-shaped locket. The map depicted a series of landmarks, a crystal waterfall, a moonlit glade, and a secret cave. Arya realized that these were the places she needed to visit to find the lost star. She tucked the locket and the map into her satchel and continued her journey. First, she reached the crystal waterfall. The water cascaded down in a dazzling display of colors. And at the base of the waterfall, Arya found a hidden alcove with a glowing crystal. The crystal seemed to resonate with the locket she carried, and it pointed her towards the next landmark. Arya followed the directions to the moonlit glade. The glade was bathed in a soft, silvery light, and fireflies danced in the air. In the center of the glade stood a grand oak tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the hollow, Arya found a beautiful, silver box that contained a soft, shimmering light. The box seemed to pulse with a gentle warmth, guiding her to the final destination. The last landmark was the secret cave. As Arya entered the cave, she was greeted by a mesmerizing sight, walls of luminescent crystals that reflected the soft light of the locket. In the heart of the cave, Arya found a large, radiant star resting on a pedestal. It was the lost star she had been searching for. Arya carefully placed the star into the locket, and the locket's light grew brighter. She felt a sense of accomplishment and joy as the cave illuminated with a warm, golden glow. The star's light seemed to spread throughout the land, bringing a sense of peace and harmony. With the star restored to its rightful place, Arya returned to the Whispering Willow. The tree's branches swayed gently, and the whispers of gratitude filled the air. Arya felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she listened to the willow's soft murmurs. The villagers soon noticed the changes in the valley. The land seemed to sparkle with renewed beauty, and a sense of calm and happiness spread through the community. They celebrated Arya's bravery and her role in restoring the lost star's light. From that day on, the Whispering Willow continued to share its wisdom and guidance, and Arya often visited the tree, listening to its whispers and enjoying the peace it brought to the valley. The star's light remained a symbol of hope and harmony, reminding everyone of the magic that existed in their world. And so, the valley thrived under the gentle glow of the restored star, and Arya's bravery became a cherished story for generations to come. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and blooming meadows, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden, known as the Enchanted Garden, was said to be filled with magical flowers that had the power to grant wishes. It was protected by a wise old fairy named Seraphina, who tended to the garden's wonders with great care. In a nearby village lived a young girl named Alina. Alina was kind and gentle, with a deep love for nature. She often dreamed of finding the enchanted garden, but it was said that only those with a true heart and a noble wish could enter. One day, as Alina was wandering through the forest collecting wildflowers, she stumbled upon a beautiful, silver key half buried in the soft earth. The key shimmered in the sunlight, and Alina felt a sense of wonder as she picked it up. As she examined the key, a soft voice whispered through the trees, "That key will lead you to the enchanted garden. But to enter, you must first prove your heart is true." Excited by the discovery, Alina followed the voice, which guided her deeper into the forest. After a while, she reached a hidden door covered in ivy and moss. With a trembling hand, Alina inserted the silver key into the lock and turned it. The door creaked open to reveal a breathtaking garden bathed in moonlight. The enchanted garden was more magnificent than Alina had ever imagined. Flowers of every color and shape glowed softly, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming roses. At the center of the garden stood a single, moonlit rose on a pedestal. Its petals shimmered like silver, and its fragrance was enchanting. As Alina approached the rose, Seraphina, the wise old fairy, appeared in a swirl of sparkling light. "Welcome, Alina," Seraphina said with a warm smile. "You have shown great courage and kindness to find this place. What is your wish?" Alina thought carefully. She had always wanted to help her village, which had recently suffered from a long drought. The crops were failing, and the villagers were worried. With a determined heart, Alina said, "I wish for my village to have plenty of water and fertile land, so the crops can grow and the villagers can thrive." Seraphina nodded, her eyes twinkling with approval. "Your wish is noble and selfless. To grant it, we must first ask for the moon's blessing." With a wave of her wand, Seraphina summoned a gentle, glowing mist that surrounded the moonlit rose. The rose's petals opened, revealing a crystal at its center. The crystal began to glow brightly, and a soft, melodic hum filled the air. Alina watched in awe as the crystal's light grew stronger. The mist swirled around the garden, and the petals of the moonlit rose started to drift away like falling stars. The fairy's magic touched every corner of the garden, and the energy of the wish began to spread. "Now, we must send the magic to your village," Seraphina explained. "Hold the rose tightly and think of your village with all your heart." Alina carefully took the moonlit rose in her hands and closed her eyes. She imagined the fields filled with golden crops, the villagers smiling and working together, and the clear, flowing streams that would bring life to the land. As she focused on her wish, a brilliant beam of light shot from the rose, piercing the night sky. The light traveled across the land, reaching Alina's village. When the light touched the village, the skies opened up, and rain began to fall gently upon the parched earth. The fields soaked up the water, and the streams began to flow once more. When Alina returned to her village, she was greeted with cheers and tears of joy. The once dry fields were now lush and green, and the villagers rejoiced at the return of their water supply. The village was thriving, and Alina's selfless wish had brought hope and prosperity to everyone. Alina never forgot the enchanted garden and the moonlit rose that had made her wish come true. She continued to care for her village with the same kindness and love she had shown in her wish. And every night, she would look up at the moon, knowing that the magic of the enchanted garden was watching over her. As for the enchanted garden, it remained a place of wonder, waiting for the next kind-hearted soul to discover its secrets and make a wish with a true heart. And so, under the moonlit sky, Alina and her village lived happily ever after, their dreams blooming as brightly as the magical flowers in the enchanted garden. The end.